B'Shem Hashem Naaseh v'Natzliach, Shiur Torah, Bruchim Habayim. We are back here on Wednesday night, Stump the Rabbi. So Hashem, you guys have some questions. Kadosh Baruch Hu will give us the answers, that we continue growing in our servitude of Kadosh Baruch Hu, do what we're supposed to for our own sake, and needless to say, for the sake of our family, for the sake of our people, and to bring nachat to Kadosh Baruch Hu. The Shiur tonight, Bezrat Hashem, will be for a refuah shlema for Rabbanit Levana bat Sarah, Sarah bat Levana, Rav Ephraim ben Shulamit, Rabbanit Sarah bat Anat, David ben Esriya, Doris bat Jora, Orit bat Ilana, Michal bat Yael, Avigail bat Michal, Talia bat Sarah, Yitro ben Avraham, Stefan ben Katarina, and also for a Atzlacha Rabba for Shaul ben Farzane, Yitro ben Avraham, Oshri ben Doris, Gabi ben Doris, Elad ben Doris, David ben Esriya, and also for Marsha bat Julie and her dear daughter Ayla bat Marsha, Samuel ben Marsha and Alexander ben Marsha. Kadosh Baruch Hu yivarech otam bekol mikol kol, chaim arukim, shlemim, meleim Torah, mitzvot, gminut chasadim. Oh, and also a refuah shlema for our dear friend Hannah Rivka bat Vivian Fortune. Kadosh Baruch Hu yivarech אותה. רפואה שלמה, רפואת הנפש, רפואת הגוף, מעל הטבע, beyond nature. And to all of the wonderful people that are supporting us, helping us, amazing stories that we hear from all over the world, Baruch Hashem. Each and every single day, more new people are connecting with us, either because they just first watched our movie or one of our lectures for the first time, or they've been watching it for a while, but just decided to connect now from Mexico, from Indonesia, Australia, England, all over the United States, Israel, Baruch Hashem. It's unbelievable. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has so much mercy on us that He uses us as a vessel to connect to the whole world. And it's truly amazing. It's truly amazing. Short update in regards to the movie. I know a lot of people are asking about it. It's very close. Very close, meaning we are a month, maximum 2 months away from getting this movie out there. We need to raise a lot more money to do the marketing plan that we want to. We need to raise probably another $250,000, maybe a little less, to implement what we want to implement. Whether we get it or we don't get it, we're still going to publicize it, but it's simply, the question is, who wants to be a partner in the most monumental movie in the Kiruv world's history, the Torah world's history, simply because this is what's needed for the generation. Of course, the movie that we did last year reached many people. Even more so, of course, the movie Rabbi Mizrahi did years ago, Torah and Science and the Purpose of Life, were extraordinary movies, and Bezrat Hashem will reach just as many or more people like he has, Baruch Hashem. And many other Rabbanim that have done good things throughout the Torah world over the years. Baruch Hashem reached many people and gave a lot of people chizuk, built communities, and did wonderful things. But the reason why I have the confidence that I do in it is because, number one, it's all Torah, but even more so, it's simply because we have a stamp from the Gadol, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, in the Zohar Kadosh, that tells us that the Tikkun of the generation of the Mashiach, the era of Mashiach, is going to be Tikkun HaBRIT. And if that wasn't enough, you don't need to look very far away to realize that's the real Tikkun of this generation, the ultimate Tikkun of this generation, because you see that whether somebody grew up religious or secular, whether somebody grew up Jewish or not Jewish, whether somebody's young or old, married or single, you see that the issues of immorality, whether it's by himself, herself, or with other people, whether it's promiscuity with the opposite gender, or it's the tinofet, the filth of homosexuality, you see, Rabotai Karim, that homosexuality and promiscuity and all of this other stuff has become a norm, meaning that the tikkun of the generation of Tikkun HaBRIT, that in essence encompasses them all, is very much what Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said. It's going to be the tikkun of the generation. So that's why I know that this Bezrat Hashem is going to have an enormous amount of success, much more than everything we've ever done put together. And I think more than anything else it's ever hit. It's just simply because nothing like this has ever been done. Not in English, not in Hebrew, not in any other language. There's been short movies about similar topics, but nothing like what we have here. So, Ashra b'ashrei chelko, merit praiseworthy, and praiseworthy is the share of the people that become partners with us in this particular production, which I think is going to be something out of this world. I mean, I deal with it every day. I'm providing all of the sources and everything else. Baruch Hashem, we have dozens and dozens of sources that are being quoted in the movie also, so anyone that wants to check things that I'm saying doesn't sound so good, doesn't sound so real, you'll have the source for literally everything that we're saying on the bottom of the screen, and you'll be able to know exactly that everything that's being said is Divrei Elokim Chaim, is the words of the living God. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave a Torah to the world, and all we're doing is just simply providing it to you on a silver platter. That's all we're doing. We're just messengers. We're just tiny little specks of flesh and blood that can just be a tool that Hashem uses to provide each and every single person that wants the truth. So that's literally a month away, maybe a little more, but I think it's somewhere around that. So I would say anyone that wanted to become a partner in it, this is the time. And as I said, with the right now being the time of Shovavim, the time that people are doing Tikkun HaBRIT, people are doing all types of donations. I see that there's some people out there that have campaigns to raise money to help people do Tikkun HaBRIT, and what they're offering is just to pray for you. And that's fine. It's it's nice, but it's that type of prayer is good, but it won't do anywhere near as much as helping other people do Teshuvah. So each and every single person has to use his mind to the best of his or her ability to know which investment is worth more.
You know when you have a dream and you see a pretty woman? You've had that? Now you never actually see an ugly woman in dreams. It's always a pretty woman. And by the way, it's always the same woman for all of us. All of us have a dream of the same exact woman. And she's more dangerous than the Satan himself. Who is she? Not even allowed to say her name. What are you gonna call for?
People are addicted to it.
I live a normal life.
Repent and you will find salvation.
With that being said, we obviously have a lot going on right now in the world. We have no end to the confusion out there. But as you can see, as time passes, things become more and more clear. A few weeks ago, people were saying there's going to be a revolution in America. Donald Trump is going to take over the government, take over the army, take down everything. And I don't know, I don't watch the news very much, but apparently today there was supposed to be some type of revolution according to some people, and there was supposed to be also one yesterday, but I don't really see any bombs flying and any headlines out there saying that there's any revolution. If anything, I think it's quieter than anybody imagined. Of course, being unhappy, happy, that's a different story. But all this mumbo jumbo that people have been putting into people's head is simply a tool of the Satan to occupy your mind, just like we learned in last week's parasha, where Am Yisrael was not able to listen to the message of salvation from Moshe Rabbeinu because they were too busy doing the will of Paro. And that's in essence what's happening today, is that people are too busy doing the will of the Satan, watching the news, listening to things about the elections, listening to things about coronavirus, listening to things that have nothing to do with your actual obligation in the world. And unfortunately, the Satan doesn't end there. He doesn't end there. He starts getting people there, and then he takes them to places of sin. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about before we go into questions, because I see that there's so many people working hard, or have worked really hard, to get closer to Hashem, to start keeping mitzvot, to start doing good things. And for one reason or another, they're falling. They're falling for different traps of the Satan, and for different things. And where do we learn this from? We learn this from this week's parasha, of course, as usual. ויאמרו עבדי פרעה אליו, עד מתי יהיה לנו למוקש? שלח את האנשים ויעבדו את אדוני אלוהיהם, הטרם תדע כי עבדה מצרים. Paro's servants say to him, how long will this be a trap for us? Mokesh, send out the men, that they may serve Hashem their God. Do you not see that Egypt is lost? So the Egyptians clearly see that the plagues are destroying Egypt, saying Egypt is lost cause, and continuing to battle with Am Yisrael is just a trap. It's a trap. We're going to lose. Now, Rabotai, I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it 1,000 times, and I'll continue saying it. Doing anything other than learning Torah, doing mitzvot, or something that's connected to them is simply a mokesh, trap of the Satan. Trap of the Satan. Now, going to work to make a living, that's also part of your obligation in the world to make a living. It's part of your mitzvot in order to buy the food for your family, the books, yeshivot, and so on and so forth. Kosher, everything. That's no problem. You're allowed to work. You should work. No problem. You should not just stay there all day, do nothing. If you have the merit to learn Torah all day and you have a way to survive, that's also fantastic. According to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, that's the ideal situation, but Rabbi Yehuda says, or Rabbi Ishmael says, not everybody can do that. Not everybody can learn Torah all day, so some people need to work and learn. Some people need to only learn. But the point being is that even working is part of Avodat Hashem, as long as your job is kosher. But what happens is, Rabotai, is that people get involved into things that are not their business. They're not their business. Instead of being focused on doing mitzvot, waking up in the morning, saying your prayers, putting on tefillin, going to work, or going to learn, which is also work, and just doing what you need to do, take care of your family, take care of your kids, take care of your Torah, and that's it, finished. Next day, all over again. What do people do? They delve into other things. Oh, let's see what's going on with the election. Oh, let's see what's going on with coronavirus. Oh, let's see what's going on with the rabbis that are talking about coronavirus. Oh, let's see what let's see what all the machloket is, the debates between the rabbis. Oh, he said take the vaccine. Who said don't take the vaccine? Oh, see. So maybe they're enemies. Maybe he's talking about him. Maybe he's talking about her. Maybe this, maybe that. These are all mukshim. These are all traps of the Satan that have captured the Jewish world as well as the rest of the world. Everyone's worried about corona being the epidemic that's going to kill them, not realizing they're all inside the net of the Satan itself. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. Most ridiculous thing in the world. We are worried about coronavirus. We're worried about a lot of other things, not realizing there's barely any Shiur Torah anymore in the world. There's barely any Shiur Torah. Half the stuff that people talk about is coronavirus and what's going on. We talked about this yesterday. We're not going to repeat the same thing. But why did I mention it today? Because this trap of wasting people's time to deal with the corona, deal with all the different things, attracts people to a different trap. Why? Because he's interested, she's interested, they're interested in things of what's happening in the world. They go and they say, no, listen, I can't just listen to the news all day. I'm going to go to Gehenom. No, I'm going to go listen to a Rabbi so-and-so and see what he says. But why do they want? Because they know Rabbi so-and-so, he likes to talk about coronavirus. He likes to talk about the conspiracy. He likes to talk about the Gdolei Ador. He likes to talk about all the debates. He likes to talk about all the things that, it's interesting. Okay, now, Do I think that people should become experts in Mashiach? Obviously, you know, I said no many times. Do I think people need to be experts in coronavirus? I don't think so. Do I think that people need to be experts in what all of the poskim's different opinions are and why he said this and why he said that about coronavirus? No. Why? It's not going to help you in your practical life. It's not going to help you in your practical life. As I've said, and I'll say it again, even though there are Gdolim in the world that have said, take the vaccine. There are some big Gdolim, Kodesh Kodeshim, said, Rav Kanievsky, Rav Shalom Cohen, Rav Mazuz, Rav Yitzchak Yosef just came out with a whole sefer about it, 150 pages of different tshuvot about coronavirus, and other Gdolim have said, take the vaccine. First and foremost, they're not referring to the entire world and making it an obligation. No one has said it's a obligation, you have to take it no matter what age you are. You're a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old kid, you have to take coronavirus vaccine. No one said that. It's the people that are older, first and foremost. That's one thing. So, and also you should know that most people can't even get the vaccine anyway, even if they wanted to. Most of the people that are fighting against the vaccine don't realize that even if they wanted to take the vaccine, they can't. Why? You're 30 years old. No one's going to give you the vaccine. They're worried about the guy that's 60, 65 years old, and he's at risk. They're not worried about you 30, 25-year-old nothing that pretty much you're perfect health, Baruch Hashem. No. But that's the thing. All the people that cause the commotion are usually the younger ones. And the ones that are, just going with the flow are the older ones. And you see that Satan has them all in Malkodit, has them all in the trap. Why? This guy, he's not even at risk at all, but he's worried about taking the vaccine. This guy is just going with the flow, and but he wants to know what's going on in the whole world. But he's not really spending so much time doing Teshuvah. He's worried about the vaccine saving him from Genom. You have a lot of interesting things, but it's all a trap. It's all a trap. And what ends up happening, Rabotai, is that just like Paro's Talmidim, Paro's servants who tell them this is all a malkodit, continuing to toil over here, fighting against the enemy. They're fighting Le'abdi, they're fighting against Am Yisrael. Say it's a complete trap, you're going to lose. Rabotai, Le'abdi, you continue fighting with the Satan, you're going to lose. And people are losing big. How are they losing big? Why? Because they already have a predisposition. They already have an opinion. They've watched some movies, they've watched some lectures, they've watched all types of things. They've already decided what they want to do. They decided, I'm going to take the vaccine. I'm not going to take the vaccine. You decided. But now, they're not happy with just deciding. Because in reality, no rabbi in the world can influence you of whether you're going to put an injection into your body or not. No one can do that. You could say, no, he's my rabbi. Yeah, he's your rabbi until he tells you to do something you don't want to do. Most people are not listening to anybody. They're listening to themselves. And what happens is, they already have a predisposition. They have a decision in their mind. But now, they hear that their rabbi doesn't agree with them because they don't want to take the vaccine. And the rabbi said, take the vaccine. Or they do want to take the vaccine. And the rabbi said, no, you take the vaccine, you're going to die. So what do? Oh, this rabbi, he's reformed. Oh, this rabbi, he's Illuminati. Oh, this rabbi, he is, maybe he's Bill Gates. Oh, this rabbi, he's a lefty liberal. This rabbi, he's Amalek. Oh, what happened? And now, they don't do this inside their brain. I wish they did it inside their brain. I wouldn't talk about it. No! They want to give their olam haba with this opinion. What do they do? Start writing on the internet. Writing on the internet. Oh yeah, I used to like you, Rabbi so-and-so, until you said to take the vaccine. Until you said, don't take the vaccine. You said that, that's it. I'm done with you. You're garbage. You're Amalek. You're this, you're that. You learned from this guy 5, 10, 20, 30 years. A lot of Torah. He saved your whole life. You kfui tova, you ungrateful person. He saved your whole life. He gave you a chance to go to Olam Haba. You all said, no, I'm done with him. He's garbage. He's this, he's that. And that's not bad enough. It's not bad enough. You go to the other guy who supports your opinion as if, oh yeah, you see, I love this guy. Why? Because he told me to do exactly what I was thinking. He told me to take the vaccine. He told me not to take the vaccine. Whatever your opinion is. Pretending as if you were influenced by him, but in reality, you already made up your decision. Neither rabbi influenced you. You already made up your decision. You wanted to take it, you didn't want to take it. You weren't influenced by Gdolei Ador. You weren't influenced by any rabbi. You decided for yourself. Take it, don't take it. But what did you do? It wasn't enough for you to just decide. You wanted to give your Olam Haba. They give you vaccine, you gave them the Olam Haba. They give you conspiracy, you gave your Olam Haba. Whichever side you decide, you're giving your Olam Haba. You're giving it like it's free. All your mitzvot in the garbage. You just throw them in the garbage. You know how many people should be crying blood from their face for all of the sins they've made in the last year, the lashon hara, the rechilut, the going to being rotfim, going and calling the cops or the government in one way or another on each other. And now, if that's not bad enough, it's all of the garbage that people are spreading about holy people. Oh, Rav Kanievsky says to take it? Oh, no, he's old, he's stupid, he's dead. Are you crazy? Do you understand that you're talking about a Sefer Torah, a living Sefer Torah? This is what you're saying about him? Oh, no, you know he's old, and you know his grandson. Put something in your ears, in your mouth. Put some dust in your mouth. Afra lepuma. Put some dust in your mouth. Stop talking. Do you realize you're losing your Olam Haba with the stupidity? It was better off you died from the vaccine or without the vaccine than the garbage that came out of your mouth. Take it, don't take it, shush! But that's it. No, people can't shush. They can't shush. They have to write comments, they have to talk to their friends, they have to go this. It's amazing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave the entire world a sign. You talk too much garbage, so what's the rebuke? The whole world is on nidui. The whole world is on nidui. Why? Nidui is you're not allowed to be within 6 feet of another person. Is nidui. He did something. He embarrassed the rabbis. He went against the Torah. He did things that are against the Torah. They will put him on nidui. What's nidui? Not allowed to do business with him. Not allowed to count him in minyan. Not allowed to say hello to him. And you're not even allowed to be within 6 feet of him. HaKadosh Baruch Hu put you, everybody in the world, me too. He put all of us on nidui. We still didn't get the hint. Then he told us, it's because you talk so much, so put a mask on your face. Because you say so much lashon hara, so much rechilut. Put something on your face. And we're still not getting it. We're talking more garbage today than we did before coronavirus. It's unbelievable. It's almost like you smashed your head against the wall. It's like, what's the point of the Shiur Torah? They're not listening anyway. Oh yeah, he kept Shabbat. Okay, he kept Shabbat, but he's still doing all the other garbage. He's killing himself. Rabotai, please be quiet. Enough with the internet comments and the debates amongst each other. You want to take the vaccine, bechavo, take it. You don't want to take it, don't take it. But stop with all of this junk mail that everyone has turned themselves into of take it, don't take it. The rabbi said this, the rabbi said that. All the rabbis are against it, all the rabbis are for it. Listen, first and foremost, there are big dolim that said take it. They're not referring to a 15-year-old kid that's not at risk. That's number one. Number two, they're not making it an obligation on anybody. You want to take it, take it. You don't want to take it, there are other gedolim that you can rely on that say don't take it. Simple. You don't have to take it. You can take it or not take it. You could take it, or you could just wait to see what happens if maybe the conspiracy theories pan out for you and you feel like, you're right. Because, if you're right, then, and the conspiracies are right, you're going to see about 50, 100, 200 million people dead in the next couple of months. So if you're right and there's like bodies all over the street, maybe then you could be sure of yourself that you didn't take the vaccine. The point is, stop ruining your Olam Haba. Stop ruining your Olam Haba. There's no point of anything if you're going to ruin your Olam Haba in the process. And unfortunately, Rabotai, this is what's happening. We're all falling for this trap. And we're writing comments, and we're saying stupid things, and it's gotten to the point where we're now, the Satan has, because we already have our opinion, because we already have made up our mind in a certain way, Satan now is refining our tuning, where someone can say exactly what he's saying. He's saying exactly what you're supposed to be saying, but you, since you have a predisposition or something or another, Satan says, no, he didn't say that. He said something else. He didn't say A. The rabbi said A. No, he didn't say. He said B. You said B. He said A. I saw A. No, he said B. You're not listening. Okay, so it's B then. And Satan, in essence, starts telling you what people are saying, even if they're not saying it. Why? It's all a trap. It's all a trap. It's all a trap. And people are losing their olam haba. They're losing their olam haba because they think, I'm here to save the world. Everybody's here to save the world all of a sudden. Everybody's Superman. Everybody's Mashiach. Everybody's Mashiach. Everybody's here to save the world. When it came before Corona, we would cry to people, please tell your community, start keeping Shabbat, stop wasting seeds, start eating kosher. No, I don't want to get into anybody's business. Oh, okay, you don't want to get into anybody's business. Okay. But now, everybody's in everybody's business. HaKadosh Baruch Hu put the whole world on nidui because of all the garbage that comes out of people's mouth. He puts masks on our face to tell us it's because of our mouth. He tells us we're not allowed to be within 6 feet of each other. We're all on nidui, rabotai. We're all on nidui. Still not getting the point. Make more sins. Why are you doing mitzvot? Let's listen to what the Gaon has to say of how we need to live our life, rabotai yekarim. How we need to live our life. How do we fix this? In Even Shlema, the Gaon Mivilna says that Bitachon and istapkut means being happy with whatever you have. You have a lot of money, be happy. You don't have a lot of money, be happy. You have a wife, be happy. Don't look at his wife. You have a car, be happy. Don't look at, let me see, maybe I'll get a better car. He has a nicer car. He has the same car in a different color. Stop looking at the other grass being greener. Be happy with whatever you have. Why? I can't be ambitious? You can be ambitious, but don't look at somewhere else. Why? Be happy with whatever you have. Happy, not like content. Happy. Happy with whatever you have. Yishtabach Shemo. I have 3 kids. Thank you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yeah, I want 87, but I have 3. Yishtabach Shemo. Who could have promised me that I would even have 1? Yishtabach Shemo. I know a little bit of Chumash. Yishtabach Shemo. I have a job. Yishtabach Shemo. I have a wife. I have a husband. I have a this. Be happy. Happy with what you have. Nobody's happy. Why? Everybody wants somebody else. What he has. What she has. She has a brand new dress. No, but she wants her dress. She has a brand new ring, but she wants her ring. She just got married, but she's like, maybe I could have got a better husband. He has a wife, but he's looking at his wife's girlfriend. Be happy with what you have. The Gaon Mivilna says in Even Shlema, Section 3, first part, Bitachon and istapkut are the foundation to all of the good character traits, all of the good midot, which are the opposite of desire and jealousy, which are the key to all the bad midot. And this bitachon and istapkut is the key to all of the mitzvot. And the bitachon is the foundation, whereby one who's lacking bitachon, even his Torah will not be fulfilled. Meaning, even if someone's learning Torah, but he doesn't have bitachon, doesn't have confidence in Hashem, doesn't understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one that's running the world. He's the one that's giving you the problems. He's the one that put coronavirus. He's the one that brought the Holocaust. He's the one and only. Einod milvado. You don't understand it. You don't have bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You don't realize that everything is for the good, including all of the things I just mentioned and the things I didn't mention. Everything is for the good. The flat tire, brand new wife. The bad day, the good day. Everything is for the good. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the best. You don't realize that? You don't have bitachon HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You don't realize that your $3 salary and your $30 million salary and your kids and this and all of that is good for you. That's the best possible thing. You don't have bitachon. Even if you learn Torah, you will not be able to fulfill it. The Torah is not going to have any staying power. Why? Bitachon, the Gaon Mivilna. Study 20 hours a day. Gaon Mivilna says, bitachon, that's the foundation. Why? Without bitachon, you're not going to have good character traits. Without having good character traits, you're learning the Torah for a bad reason. It's not pure. Next section he says, all of the sins and the transgressions come from jealousy. Come from jealousy, which is, in essence, lack of control over the desires. Therefore, the commandment out of the 10 commandments of lo tachmod, which is do not covet, includes all of the 10 commandments. And histabkut, being content with what you have, happy, not content, being happy with what you have is exactly the opposite. Is exactly the opposite of jealousy, which is the foundation of the entire Torah. And it is full emunah, full faith in Hashem. This histabkut, what is this histabkut? Histabkut is having full emunah, not to worry the worries of tomorrow. Emunah of not worrying today the worries of tomorrow. That's in essence the problem that we have all put ourselves in. That's the trap. What's the trap? What's the net that's holding civilization today? We're all worried about tomorrow. What about today? What about the sins you're making today? The transgressions you're making today? The chilul Shabbat of today? The lack of kosher today? The cheating today? The cheating the customers? The cheating your wife? The lying? The anger? The stinginess? The lashon hara? All the filth that's coming out that you're producing on a day-to-day basis today. What about that? Why are you so worried about what's going to happen in 10 years from now? What about today? No. I need to worry about the world. Worry about today. That's the problem. When you have full emunah, when you have istabkut, it leads you to have emunah, not to have the worries of tomorrow, today. And whoever has a good heart full of bitachon, full of confidence in Hashem, listen to this. This is Gaon Mivilna, Even Shlema 3:2. Listen to this. Whoever has a good heart full of bitachon, even if he makes big transgressions currently, not permanently, currently, he makes big transgressions currently, but he has real bitachon Hashem, he or she is better than one who is lacking bitachon, but deals with Torah and kindness. Because lack of bitachon leads to jealousy and hatred, despite the dealings of Torah and Chesed. So how could somebody that's dealing with Torah, learning Torah every day, he does kindness every day, but he doesn't have bitachon because he has jealousy and hatred? How? You're learning Torah. How could you learn Torah and still have jealousy and hatred? Because you don't have bitachon. So how could it be that you could have this? How could it be? Because his Torah and his kindness is not coming because he's happy with whatever he has, because he has confidence that Hashem runs the world. Opposite is Torah and kindness is simply being done to build himself a name, says the Gaon Mivilna. Meaning even his Torah and his kindness are coming from a bad place. Why? He has no bitachon Hashem. He doesn't think that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is monitoring everything, and even more so, himself. Doesn't monitor himself, and even more so, that he doesn't realize that everything is for good. Everything is for good. 3:9. The Gaon Mivilna says, dealing with Yirat Shamayim in this world helps fulfill the Torah and mitzvot. Just like fertilizer helps a garden. The Gaon Mivilna is telling us, you want to have real success in this world of learning Torah, real success in this world of doing mitzvot, it has to have fertilizer. What's the fertilizer? Yirat Shamayim. In essence, he's repeating what the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat, page 32a, said, where Rabbi Shimon says, what's Yirat Shamayim? Yirat Shamayim is the preservative of the entire Torah. Just like a guy tells one of his employees, go bring all of this plants and crop, put it in the attic. The guy puts it, comes down, and he says to him, did you put the chumtin on it? Did you put the preservative on it? And the employee says, no, I didn't put nothing on it. The boss says to him, then it was better off you didn't do anything. Better off you just left it outside. Why, boss? Why? Why is it better off I just left it outside? You said to put it upstairs. No. See, if you don't put preservative on all of it, it's all going to go bad. If you don't have Yirat Shamayim, all your Torah is going to go bad. If you don't have Bitachon, even the Torah that you have is already bad. That's the difference. And those who serve Hashem, also with their money, B'kol me'odecha, as well as their actions, merit that their work will be done by other people. Meaning, if somebody serves Hashem not only by putting on tefillin, having kisui rosh, kosher, all that stuff, but also they donate money to support the Torah, they support the Talmid Chacham, they support Kiyuv, they do good things. The Gaon Vilna says one of the benefits of doing it, there's many benefits. One of the benefits of doing it is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to put you in a position that other people are going to do your work for you. Meaning, you won't have to work so hard for your money. Right now, you worked hard for your money, you use that money to donate for the sake of Torah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to make it so reward you in this world, in addition to the next world. How? Other people are going to make money for you. Other people are going to make money for you. But someone says, no, listen, I'm just going to do mitzvot. I'm going to learn Torah. I'm going to do mitzvot. I'm going to be modest. I'm going to do all the good things. But I'm not going to support Torah. I want to keep my money. I've got to feed my kids, have a retirement plan, maybe a vacation home. I don't necessarily. I'll give tzedakah whenever I get a chance. It's not, didn't you say, Rabbi, it's not really an obligation to give the 10% as long as the Bet Mikdash is out there. It's really more of a very high recommendation, but not necessarily obligation like Shabbat. Okay, so I'm not going to give 10%. Or you know what? I'll give, but it's 10% of the net. So in reality, I got $50,000, $100,000 a year, but after I paid $90,000 in expenses, I have $10,000, so I'll give 10% of that. Instead of giving 10% of $100,000, which is $10,000, I'm going to give 10% of what's left after I spent all the money and had a good time. I'll give $1,000. Person like that, the Gaon Vilna says, that serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu does all the mitzvot. She does all the mitzvot, but she serves him with her heart, not with her money. Says that person, the work for the money will be done by herself. Will be done by himself. That's it. Hashem's not going to send him anybody else that's going to help him make money. So in essence, we see here that there is fantastic suggestion by the Gaon Vilna. It says, listen, whatever you want to do with the money, no problem. You can do what you want. It's your free choice. But if you use the money for the sake of Torah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will benefit you in this world and the next. One of the benefits in this world, He's going to send you people that are going to help you make money, help you do things in this world. Whatever needs to be done, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to send you different people that are going to help you. And there are countless stories of how this is done on a regular basis. Literally, I've had so many things in my life, so many times in my life where I've seen miracles in front of my eyes. I remember when we first moved to Florida. This, and we didn't really know that many people. We were still, my wife was pregnant, Baruch Hashem, with the first kid. And, things went south in the beginning because, my whole business collapsed right after we moved here. So one day I wake up, it's the whole market collapsed, or my investments collapse, everything goes to zero, I'm in a negative balance, our bank account is wiped out, and so on and so forth. So now, that wasn't necessarily the worst part of the story. The worst part is that we were expecting, we were literally a month or two away from having our first kid. And we had no idea not only how we're going to, feed this kid, we had no idea how we're going to feed ourselves, how we're going to pay rent. So, as you would have it, I was learning Torah already, I was teaching Torah already, but on a smaller scale. Suddenly, a relative calls me, not knowing that I lost everything, but a relative calls me, listen, hey, I have some money for you. For what? I don't know, you're teaching Torah, I want to be part of it. Okay, fine, no problem. What's your account? Tells me, here you go. Honey, we have the rent money. Wow, amazing. How? I don't know, Kadosh Baruch Hu how. I don't know how. Kadosh Baruch Hu how. So okay, fine, no problem. Baruch Hashem, baby's delivered. We all, it's coming soon. We're like, oh, what are we going to do? We need to buy furniture. We're going to have furniture. We lost all the money. We don't have anything. So what we're going to do. We're talking to my wife. Oh, Bezat Hashem. We'll pray for it. Literally, same day. I have my class. One of my students comes. He goes, "Listen, any chance you guys need a crib and maybe some baby furniture?" I said, "Why?" "Oh, I don't know. Our kid already grew up, and it's really brand new. We have brand new stuff. If you want baby furniture," I said, "You know what? I'll take it." Literally, 24 hours. He moved everything. I didn't do anything. He moved everything into my house. Brand new baby furniture for a little baby. It didn't come yet. A month away from coming. Shtabach Shimo. And I had so many stories like this in my life. Kadosh Baruch Hu sees you. Trust Him. You're learning Torah. You're doing mitzvot. When you have it, you're giving money. Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to have people do the work for you. Have people do the work for you. Baruch Hashem. But if you keep everything to yourself, you're doing mitzvot, but you keep everything to yourself, Kadosh Baruch Hu says, no problem, that's okay, but I'm not going to send you anywhere that's going to do work for you. Section 4.4 in Even Shlema, it's a very, very big warning about the Yetzer Hara. Know this, the Gaon Vilna says, know this, that it's not the way of the Yetzer Hara to lead someone straight to the sin itself, but rather to love. What does it mean to love? What does it mean to love? Yetzer Hara is genius. Genius. Gaon Vilna says, as soon as the Yetzer Hara sees that you're not glued to him, you're not connecting to him, you're not going to the movies, you're not, doing all these big sins. You're frum. You're not connecting to him. You're like, yo, Yetzer Hara, not for me. He sees you're not connecting to him. So what does the Yetzer Hara do? Then the Yetzer Hara starts bringing you mitzvot. Mitzvot he starts bringing you that you get physical pleasure from. All types of mitzvot that involve physical pleasure. All of a sudden, you meet somebody that has all this delicious food, knows how to cook, and they want to cook for you for free. All of a sudden, you have family, friends, and everybody else inviting you to weddings. Every day there's a wedding. You can dance, you can eat nonstop. All types of physical pleasure. And he starts getting you used to enjoying the mitzvot, the physical pleasure of the mitzvot. So he comes to you with love. He's like, come, Habibi, I love you. I'm the one, I'm going to bring you to a wedding. No, Sadiq, come to the wedding. Eat 2, 3, 4 meals. No, come on. 8 meals. No, look at this. Oh, see. No, you have to enjoy the beauty of the world. Let's go to a vacation. I'll give you some extra money. He gives you all types of mitzvot that you enjoy the body. Once a person has fallen for this malkodet, this trap, the Gaon Vilna says, he gets used to enjoying the mitzvot physically, then it becomes much easier for the Yetzer Hara to bring this person to desires that are sins of this world, physical desires that are sins of this world. Why? He's used to enjoying things physically. He's not used to just doing something just because Hashem said so. Section 410. When a person begins to go towards the straight path, starts doing Teshuvah, but gives up because it's hard for him, it's hard for her, and starts complaining to Hashem that he didn't help them enough. Hashem, come on, I was planning to finish the entire Shas, my first year of Teshuvah. How come you didn't help me? Come on, Hashem, how come you didn't send me a shidduch right away? I was planning on getting married right away. How come Hashem starts complaining to Hashem? The reality is, the Gaon Vilna says, that he is the one that's at fault, meaning the person is the one that's at fault. Why? Because he was trying to jump to spiritual levels that are much higher than what he really is. Because he doesn't understand that when it comes to teshuvah, when it comes to servitude of Hashem, there's a klal, there's a rule. Sur mira v'aseh tov. Run away from evil and do good. When it comes to doing teshuvah and serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu, everybody said, no, laat, one step at a time, or full force. Both are wrong. Both are wrong. It says, Sur mira aseh tov. Run away from evil and do good. So what does that mean? When it comes to doing evil, such as violating Shabbat, wasting seed, intermarriage, eating non-kosher, all of these different sins, you have to stop it 100% right away. And if you somehow can't manage to do all of it right away, never tell yourself that it's okay to continue sinning. Keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. There is no one step at a time. You have to stop all evil immediately. Why? It's poison. It's spiritual poison. But when it comes to aseh tov, when it comes to doing the mitzvot, praying on time, putting a kisui rosh on that's a little bit more meshubach, more fancy, doing all types of praying early, keeping Shabbat extra time, all the different mitzvot, any mitzvah. You have to do something, that you can take one step at a time. You could pray by yourself in the beginning, not necessarily pray with a minyan. You could, do a lot of different things, but one step at a time. But when it comes to the evil, when it comes to the sins, you have to stop everything right away. That's what it is. And what happens with that person, the Gaon Mivilna says, is that he, instead of focusing on the sumira and stopping all the sins, he focused on doing all of the mitzvot and more. He wanted to become a chassid his first year after conversion. He wanted to become a chassid first year of Teshuvah. That's it. He's a chassid. He's closing his eyes. He has two people walking him, so he doesn't see anything in the world. Hey, Habibi, relax. Focus on the sins. Stop all the sins. The aseh tov, the doing good, the mitzvot. One thing at one, build yourself up one day at a time, to be able to handle the bigger stuff. Don't think that you're going to become Gaon Mivilna your first 5 or 10 or 20 years. It's going to take time. Because Teshuvah, the Gaon Mivilna says in section 420, Teshuvah needs two things. One, Tikkun for the past, rectifying the past, and two is acceptance for the future. Whereas the Tikkun for the past, the Gaon Mivilna says, the Tikkun for the past is better than all of the fasts, is to learn Torah and do Gemilut Chasadim, do Kiruv. Help people do Teshuvah and learn Torah. That's for Tikkun for the past. And for this to work, person must have Yirat Shamayim on his face. Now, how do you make sure that you have Yirat Shamayim on your face? Section 7.1 says, make sure you have clean speech. Because clean speech, not saying Lashon Hara, not making up any rumors, not cursing, all of this stuff, which also includes clean hearing, not listening to all the filthy music and people cursing and things of that nature. Clean speech leads to preservation of your soul against all of the sins. Whereas forbidden speech, the Gaon says, forbidden speech leads to all of the sins, even if he toils in Torah. And he does kindness, but if he has forbidden speech, the strength of all of his mitzvot gets ruined by each and every word that he says. And he has to suffer. He has to suffer in this world because he wants to talk a lot. She wants to talk a lot. Hi, girlfriend, how are you? 49 years later, she finished the conversation. So how do I do Teshuvah if I like to talk? Gaon Mivilna says here's a secret. You have to suffer. What suffer? What? Sickness? Poverty? No. You have to suffer. How do you have to suffer? Suffer your entire life by limiting your speech and limiting your desires. Because that is your Teshuvah. Don't talk so much. Don't talk so much. Don't write so much. Shush. Mind your business. You want to talk? Talk to your husband a little bit. Talk to your wife a little bit. Talk to the kids a little bit. Finish. Talk to Hashem the rest of the day. Why? You talk too much? For sure you're going to end up sinning. For sure. And it's going to ruin all your mitzvot. Rambam Paskin, somebody says Lashon Hara has no share of the world to come. So a person talks a lot, sure he's going to share Lashon Hara. So the Gaon says that is, he controls his speech, preserves his neshama. And that brings him suffering because he wants to talk, he wants to fulfill his desires, she wants to fulfill her desires. That suffering is your Teshuvah. That suffering is your Teshuvah, and that suffering of not talking and not fulfilling all of your desires is more valuable than any of the fasts that you can possibly do, of any of the other suffering you can do. Now, last section, when person also, he says that another thing is to help Torah scholar or become a scholar. Why? Because that will save you from the knife of the Malach HaMavet. Everyone has to deal with the knife of the Malach HaMavet. You want to be saved from it? Either sponsor a scholar or be a scholar yourself. Why does he just go straight to that? Because of section 711. He says the following. There's a seventh chamber in Gehenom, which we already talked about. That's a place where people that go in don't come out. What about the other 6? The Gaon Vilna says the following. 6 chambers are in Gehenom, and each includes 10 more parts within it. And the 6th one, the 6th chamber of Gehenom, has all of the parts, has everything. And its name is Mavet. That's the name of this chamber, Mavet. And who is judged in it? Who's judged in it? Someone who can learn Torah but does not. He can learn Torah, he can go to the Shiur, he can watch the Shiur, he could do good things, but says, no, you know what, I'll watch it tomorrow. Let me watch the game. Let me watch Donald Trump say goodbye. Let me watch Bibi say hello, goodbye, hello again, goodbye again. Let me watch other things. Watch sports, football, baseball, all types of things. Or better yet, instead of learning Torah, they spend their time making comments on the internet. No, I'm debating this guy. What debating? What's going to help you in your life? Go learn Torah, go learn Gemara, go learn Musa, go learn something. Watch a Shiur by Rabbi Reuven. Do something! Stop wasting your life. Not enough force. Okay, listen to Gaon Vilna. He says, okay, you want to continue wasting your life? You're going to be in the 6th level of Gehenom, just for that. We're not talking about all the other stuff. Just for that. You could have learned. You didn't learn? 6th chamber of Gehenom. What's that chamber? It has all of the chambers. Hashem Yishmo V'Yatzid. Hashem Yishmo V'Yatzid. Do people understand how much danger they're in with all the waste of time they have? Now, if that's not bad enough, we're going to finish with a section. I want to make this forceful enough for everybody to know it's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's mamash. I feel bad. And that's why I'm so fired up today. I feel bad. Good people, left and right, from different worlds, from different places, are doing teshuvah, doing great things. One comment, one remark, one thing, one piece of stolen money, one act, and literally they have to work on a year, 2 years, 5 years to fix the broken pieces. Why? You couldn't control yourself. Now for all of those superheroes that think that they know more than the rabbis, or the Satan has them confused, or their friends work for the Satan and they have them confused, whichever one it is, know this. The Rambam in Teshuvah, chapter 4, Halakha number 4, says, among the 24 types of people that have no share of the world to come, that their path for teshuvah are locked, meaning Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't even want their teshuvah, he's not going to help them. Who are these people? Who are these problematic people? These people that have very serious problems, who are these people? 1, someone who eats from a meal which is not sufficient for its owners, meaning you invite yourself to somebody else's house. Hey, how are you guys? I'm here for Shabbat. Yeah, but how do you know they can afford to feed you? How do you put yourself on other people? They invite you, you just push yourself. Not good. You ate from somebody that doesn't have enough, you have a very serious problem. Why? It's a sin that you almost can't fix. 2, a person who makes a pledge, who makes use of a pledge taken from a poor person. The pledge taken from a poor person would be his axe or plow, where he rationalizes that their value will not depreciate. Saying, I haven't stolen anything from him. 3, one who looks at women that are forbidden to him. He doesn't think that this matter is of any consequence, little consequence, rationalizing, I didn't engage in any relations with her. Was I intimate with her? I didn't do anything. I just looked at the girl. I like to enjoy beauty. Isn't there a blessing for enjoying beautiful things? The Rambam says it's almost impossible for such a person to do tshuva. He continues to look at women. Why? For sure, you look at women, for sure you're going to go to Gehinom. Why? Masechet Brachot says, so a person that enjoys the beauty of other women that are forbidden to him, for sure is going to go to Gehinom. Why for sure he's going to go to Gehinom? Why? Because for sure he's going to waste seed. Now he doesn't realize, Rabotai. He doesn't realize what happens. You waste seed. Without realizing what's going to happen. The Pri Etz Chaim, Sha'ar HaAmidah, says when a man wastes seed, every single one of those seeds becomes a hostage. All of those neshamot becomes hostages of the Satan. They're going to take revenge against this person. And the woman that walked around Imades that he's looking at, she's going to go to Gehinom along with him. 4. Person who takes pride in his fellow man's shame. See, I told you he's going to win the election. See, I told you that he's going to this. I told you this is not going to work. What I told you? You're taking pride in somebody else's failure. Not a good idea. A person who suspects kosher people, all of those people that are suspecting kosher Jews, even if those kosher Jews are wrong, disagree with you, whatever the case is, you have a problem. Why? Everyone has chaskat kashrut unless they show that they're not kosher. You're saying, maybe this rabbi he's senile, he shouldn't be a Gedol Hador anymore. Maybe this rabbi is getting paid by the vaccine companies. Maybe Bill Gates is giving him some money. Maybe this guy, he's this. Maybe this guy is that. Suspecting kosher people puts a person in a very, very bad situation with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You see, Rabotai, there are people every single day that are putting themselves in bad situations. The Rambam continues in the 5th halacha, in section 4, saying that there's 25. Among the 24, there are 5 qualities that make a person even more difficult, almost impossible to abandon their sins. 1, someone who likes to say lashon hara or rechilut, gossip, slander. Almost impossible to abandon that. Why? She likes to talk on the phone for 3 hours a day to her girlfriend, to her mother, to her sister. Oh no, Rabbi, it's kibud avayim. I'm talking to my mom for 8 hours a day. It's not kibud avayim. It's destroying your life. Why? There's no way in the world you're talking to somebody for so long without saying lashon hara. Not possible. Not possible. You're ruining your life. That's what you're doing. And it's almost impossible to do tshuva from such a thing. Why? You're so used to that habit. You could have learned Torah during that time. Rewind a little bit to see what happens when a person doesn't learn when they can. One person that's quick-tempered. See, his wife didn't cook dinner. No, come on, what's going on with you? Okay, relax, she didn't cook, she didn't feel good. Quick-tempered. Very hard to do tshuva for such a thing. Why? Becomes part of the person. He has to work on himself, on herself. Rabbi, listen, I'm a good wife, but I'm quick-tempered sometimes. Okay, change that immediately. But it's not enough that I keep Shabbat and I cook. It's good that you cook. It's good you keep Shabbat. But if you cook-tempered, you're not going to fulfill your obligation in the world. Why? You're going to make a lot of sins due to this temper of yours. Lastly, he says that a person becomes friendly with wicked people. You have wicked people as your friends. Rabbi, can I hang out with my non-Jewish friends? No. Why not? Why so racist? I'm not racist. Your friends are idol worshippers. Your friends are atheists. Your friends are anti-Torah. There's no value in hanging out with them, and even more so, it's going to ruin your life. Why? It's psak halacha. That's the rules we got in Mount Sinai. What are you making it up? Rabbi, can I hang out with my old friends from high school even though they're not keeping Shabbat? No. Unless you're going to bring them to your Shabbat and they're going to keep Shabbat with you. No. Why? Because you become friendly with wicked people that make fun of the Torah. You become friendly with people that are anti-Torah. You will become wicked. And this is what happens to a lot of people that fall off the derech. What happens? Somebody influences them. So please, Rabotai, please stop allowing people to influence you. Even more so, stop allowing the Satan to capture you in his malkodet, in his trap, and putting you in a situation where you're not only wasting time, but aside from that, you're allowing things to come out of your mind, whether in form of speech or in writing, that are sins, that are forbidden, that are literally going to destroy your entire life. There's a pasuk in the Torah. Shlomo HaMelech says, "Ivelet adam tesalef darko ve'al Adonai yiz'af libo." The stupidity of man will lead him to sin, and then he gets mad at Hashem for punishing him. Our own stupidity, Rabotai, our own stupidity leads us to sin. And that's why Shlomo HaMelech says, a person who doesn't like Musar, doesn't like to get rebuked, doesn't like everything I just said for the first hour, Yamut, will die. What does it mean he'll die? Meaning, can't help such a person. A person doesn't like to hear the truth like this, thinks, no, he's not talking about me. He's not talking about me. I'm telling you, I'm talking to everybody. I'm not talking about one specific person. I'm talking to everybody, including myself. If you're listening to this, I'm talking to you. The message is for sure for you. Something that I've said in the last hour for sure applies to you. There's no way in the world that a Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to waste an hour of your life. No chance. No chance. For sure it applies to you. Which means there's a lot of tshuva each and every single one of us has to do. Why? We are all in this trap together. We're all in this net called the Satan, and we're wasting time. We're not learning enough. We're not doing mitzvot, and even the mitzvot that we have sometimes are literally for our own kavod, for our own honor, for our own glory. Rabotai, we are in serious danger. HaKadosh Baruch Hu put us in nidui, saying, I don't even want to talk to you. You're far away from me, 6 feet from each other. Why? Because you can't shut your mouth. You can't shut your mouth, so put a mask on. We're all in nidui. People think that this virus is going to go away. It's not going to go away. With a vaccine or without a vaccine, it's not going to go away. There's so many mutations, it's never going to go away. It's never going to go away, at least not from people. It's going to go away only for Kadosh Baruch Hu says, okay, time's up. Okay, no more virus. He just decides. No cure is going to help. Does it mean you shouldn't take the vaccine? Not take the vaccine? That you have to ask your own personal mind and your rabbi what you think and what you think. But like I said, I don't think anybody can influence it. I think everybody has already made up their mind to take it, not to take it. If you're worried, you think you're going to die, don't take it. If you're worried that you're going to die, if you are not going to take it, then take it. Simple. But at the very least, while you're so worried about your body, spend as much energy worrying about your soul and not waste your time, and definitely not saying all types of things against kosher people, whether it's a Gdolei Ador or even regular average rabbis or all types of people that are kosher people. Please, it's too painful. It's too painful to watch. So with that being said, hopefully you guys have gathered enough questions. Let's see what you have. Sound is low again. How does it sound low? The microphone's right in front of me. I don't know. Maybe change your headphones, perhaps. Nothing else I can do. Does just donating to Be'ezrat Hashem go to the movie, or do I need to give specifically to the movie? You need to specifically give to the movie if you want it to go to the movie, or if you want to just help us generally, then you would donate generally. If you want to give specifically to the movie, there is a campaign that we have online, or that our dear Vimesh will post over here. You could donate specifically for the movie. But if you want to donate for the organization itself, then you could just go to our website, be'ezrathashem.org, or to our app, which is also called Be'ezrat Hashem. It's BEEZRATHHASHEM.org. And you can donate on the website over there. Next question, David. If a boy converted at 2 years old with his parents, are the rest of his brothers and sisters considered, which are now born Jewish, are considered according to Halakha as siblings? And if the sister touches him, pats him, is it prohibited as if an unrelated girl touches him? So if he converted before them, before they were born, then they are not considered his spiritual siblings. They're not considered spiritual siblings. And you're right that he's not allowed, once he gets to an age of maturity, he's not allowed to touch his sisters. That's even really at the age of 9 years old. When the girl's 9 years old, he shouldn't touch her. But if, let's say, for example, she's 2-3 years old, that's not a problem. But once she gets to a little bit older age, then he cannot touch her. Some even say 6 years old for the girl. Point is, they're not considered as spiritual siblings. They're obviously always going to be his biological siblings, but they're not his spiritual siblings. No. This should not necessarily change very much his relationship with them, simply because either way, he's growing up with them, he spends time with them, they care about him, he cares about them. Nothing really should change. It's just really the spiritual treatment of how they treat everybody in heaven. More or less, he needs to still help them, do whatever he can to help them, but just be a little bit more conscious of the fact that he's not allowed to be alone with a sister. There has to be somebody else there. Like if let's say he is, 15 years old or 20 years old, he's not allowed to be alone with, let's say, a 10 or 12-year-old girl in the house, even if she's his biological sister. Not allowed. There has to be somebody else there, or in the house, which usually is not common because usually the 20-year-olds are busy doing their thing, and the 10-year-olds usually are busy doing their thing. But nonetheless, it's a little bit more care. Moshe is asking, Shalom Kol Harav, is there a problem using the Chesed fund to raise money for different causes? And also, what kind of intentions should a person have when making a campaign so they won't be accountable for stealing? As far as using the Chesed fund, it's one of many merchants that allow people to start a campaign to donate money to. Is there something wrong with it? No, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. You can use Chesed fund, and there are other organizations also you can use. I don't necessarily understand the question on that part. If there's something wrong with them, why would there be something wrong with them? They're simply a place that processes the transactions. If you pay them extra, they'll also market your campaign to their list of donors, and perhaps help you try to get some money, which is sometimes successful and sometimes not. But as far as using them versus anybody else, they're all businesses. They're simply all businesses. As far as what kind of intention you should have when you're making a campaign, if you're raising money, then whatever you're telling people has to be true. If you're raising money because you want people to give you money so you can pay to go to yeshiva, no problem. Tell people exactly, you're gonna pay for me to be able to go to yeshiva. If you're raising money so you can give money to homeless people, you have to tell people, I am getting whatever money you give me, I'm going to give to homeless people. And you have to give it to homeless people. You can't decide, oh no, listen, I didn't think I was going to raise that much money. I thought I was only going to raise $5,000. They ended up, donating to me $20,000. So I'm still going to use the $5,000 for homeless people, but the other $15,000 I'm going to do whatever I want. Not allowed to do that. Not allowed to do that. Whatever you say you're going to do, you have to do with all the money that you get. So you have to be very, very clear with what you say. If you say, listen, I just want to use the money for whatever I want, you have to tell people, I want to use the money for whatever I want. General purposes. General purposes of running the organization, running the whatever thing that you have. But you have to be very clear and not lie in any way. Having a kosher business, and the way of dealing with money is one of the biggest ways to see if somebody has really yirat shamayim or not, because that's one of the main places that people fail at when it comes to money. So you have to make sure that you're very kosher when it comes to money. Charlie, if you are being observant and had built up lots of reward in Olam Haba, and then you sinned a karet sin at the end of your life without doing Teshuvah, what would happen to all those rewards? That's a tough question, simply because it depends on the sin, it depends on the mitzvot, but more or less you'll have a reward for mitzvot and a punishment for sins. And if the mitzvot are greater than the sin, even if you didn't do Teshuvah, then Hashem is obviously going to punish the person, a very severe punishment that could potentially be a very long amount of time in Gehenom, but it won't be permanent. Or it could be a reincarnation, or it could be kafakela. It could be different things that Hashem would punish a person to pay for that sin itself. It's not so simple that a person sins one karet sin and that's it, he goes to eternal Gehenom. It doesn't necessarily work that way. Hashem doesn't want to send anyone to eternal Gehenom. It's in essence, when somebody goes to eternal Gehenom, it's because of a life choice. They chose to go there by living their life a certain way. It's not from one particular sin, it's from a lifelong of choices. Mike, Kvod Harav, as you have taught extensively, wasting seed is a huge sin with correct penalty, causing massive spiritual destruction. Can you speak on how it damages Parnassah and Mazal? Sure. So when it comes to keri is a 310. 310. It's a keri is when a person wastes seed. The reward for helping a person, or for a person doing Teshuvah, for a person being righteous, is 310 worlds. So in essence, a person wastes seed, he loses all of that. That's number one. Number two, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings everyone knows the Gemara says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings Parnassah, gives a person what's called shefa. Shefa is sustenance in regards to money, sustenance in food, sustenance in pleasure, sustenance in all the good things of this world. He gives it to him based on his what he produces. If he produces more kids in the world, Hashem has to give him more sustenance. If he produces less, Hashem gives him less. So now when a person wastes seed, so now he's creating these souls, he's creating these demons, but these demons are not of this world. So what ends up happening is that Hashem takes the sustenance that he gave that person. Let's say he was giving him $1 million a year, okay? And now the guy starts wasting seed. So Hashem starts taking that $1 million that he gave him before he started wasting seed, and he starts distributing it to these damaged souls. Why? Because that's in essence where the sustenance has to go, has to finance the kids. He's producing kids even though he doesn't see them. So for sure, a person loses their sustenance as a result of wasting seed. Person also loses their mazal. It's a gematria. The people that love to deal with gematria, mazal and zera levatala, these have a connection. Person that wastes seed is going to lose his mazal, is going to lose his fortune, his good fortune, and this is one of the things that people don't understand until it's too late. I know a guy that was extremely successful, and things one day decided to go the opposite way, and he said, I don't know, for whatever reason or another, I just started losing $25,000 at a clip. And I said, okay, well, 25,000 always? He goes, yeah, it was around that, sometimes more, sometimes less, but it's usually around $25,000. And I said, it's Did you do something? What? Oh, listen, I don't know. So I asked questions, and I said, you waste seed? Yeah. I said, okay, so the day that you wasted, you lost 25,000, did you waste seed the night before? He said, yes. So the day after you lost 25,000, did you waste seed again? He goes, no, I was too depressed, I didn't do it. Did you lose money the next day? No, I didn't lose money. So the days that you lost, 70,000, 80,000 more money, did you waste seed more than once? He goes, yeah, how'd you know? Okay, got you. That's it. That's what Kadosh Baruch Hu is doing. Every time you waste seed, he takes some of the blessing he gave you and he distributes it elsewhere. So a person that wastes seed for sure will end up losing everything he has, even if he has a lot. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh yeah, but there's a lot of people that are very promiscuous and they have a lot of money. Just because they have a lot of money today doesn't mean they're going to have a lot of money tomorrow. And that's actually what usually happens. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as a person sins, Hashem gives him opportunity to do Teshuvah. Gives her opportunity to do Teshuvah. He doesn't just take all the money right away. He gives a person opportunities to do Teshuvah. He sends them a rabbi, sends them a video, sends them an opportunity. He gives the person many opportunities to do Teshuvah until the time has come up, and that's when HaKadosh Baruch Hu starts taking it, starts taking the money, and that's when you see people build themselves up. He's in Hollywood, he's on Wall Street, he's on, Billionaire Road. He's here, growing up. All of a sudden, he's 45, 55 years old, top of his game. All of a sudden, his biggest asset goes down the tubes. All of a sudden, his partner steals half the money. All of a sudden, his wife is cheating on him with the cleaning person. All of a sudden, somebody robs him. Somebody this, somebody that. Before you know it, the guy loses 80, 90, 100% of his wealth in literally a fraction of the time it took him to accumulate it. And it happens a lot more often than people think. It's just that people only see the after effect of success and very little of the failure, because the success is something that's highlighted by the media a lot, often, because that's the tool of the Satan, to highlight the success, highlight materialism, highlight to connect you to it, so you could think that you're supposed to enjoy the physicality of this world. And then anytime somebody fails, it's mentioned by somebody once or twice, there's a story about it, and then the person is long gone because nobody wants to hang out with a broke person. We got a new money rapper, new money, celebrity, new money speaker, new money this, that we want to spend our time with. But it happens very, very often that people build themselves, they make a lot of money, and then HaKadosh Baruch Hu starts, if he runs out of, in essence, time for them, Kadosh Baruch Hu starts taking their money in a huge amount, but sometimes he won't take the money. There's certain times he won't take the money, but that's a bad sign. That's a bad sign. A person that dies a wicked billionaire is a bad sign. Why? That means that Kadosh Baruch Hu didn't even allow him to do Teshuvah, because him taking the money is a form of Teshuvah. It's a suffering that is repenting for their sins. So it's actually a good thing. But a person that dies a billionaire, a wicked person that's a billionaire, that's the worst possible sign that could be. Why? That means that person is for sure going to eternal Gehenom. There's no fixing that person. No fixing that person. So a Mevin Yavin of recent people that died and so on. Shem Yishmo. David, is it okay if a person kisses a cat and shows a lot of affection towards an animal? No, it's not okay at all to kiss a cat or any animal for different reasons. Number one, for tum'ah, impurity, and number two, you're not supposed to show affection to these their animals, lest you go too far, Shem Yishmo, and commit bestiality. You're not even allowed to see animals being affectionate to each other, being intimate with each other, and so on. Commit the deed. So no, you're not allowed to do such a thing. I mean, it's get a wife. Or if you're a woman, get a husband. Stop showing affection to animals. And if you have a husband, you have a wife, then get some kids too. And if you can't have kids, then adopt them. Find some human to kiss, is my point, not animals. Another question, how much damage does a non-Jewish music cause your soul? And should a person stop cold turkey? it's not even a matter of non-Jewish music. It's a matter of non-kosher music. It could be by Jewish people, but still be non-kosher. Generally speaking, non-kosher music will have a formula of aggression, immorality, arrogance, and all types of things that are being preached and celebrated in that music. So if you're looking at a lot of the lyrics that are out there, whether it's in rap, hip-hop, or rock and roll, all types of things, a lot of it is inappropriate because it promotes immorality, it promotes premarital sex, it promotes promiscuity, it promotes cheating, it promotes doing all types of things that are forbidden according to the Torah. He's singing about his boyfriend. Why would you want to listen to such a thing? She's singing about her, affair that she had. Why would you want to hear that? He's singing about all types of things that are forbidden. So those things are forbidden. Second thing is when people are talk about immorality, talk about girls like they're, and women like they're tools, like they're toys. That's demoralizing. The creation of Hashem. It's a filthy and disgusting behavior, and then really it's being removed from reality because you're not thinking that those women that they're talking so low of and in essence looking at them as if they're tools. What if that was your daughter? Because that girl surely is somebody's daughter, and perhaps maybe somebody's mother too, or will be somebody's mother. So I mean. A person needs to think about those things. So all of these songs that talk about women and how they, in different immoral ways, for sure forbidden. Lastly, just aggression. There's different forms of songs that are just aggressive, where they insult people, they make fun of people, they talk about how great they are, he's the best, he's the baddest, he'll shoot you in the face, he'll punch you here, he'll hit you there, all that stuff, that's not going to produce any good in this world. It's not going to produce any good in this world. It'll make you a lot more aggressive. You're going to want to fight more people. You're going to argue with more people. You're going to be angrier in general. You're more likely to curse more often. And I know all of this because I used to listen to that type of music. I used to listen to rap and hip-hop and all that stuff. And I know quite a bit about that genre. I grew up in that world. I probably know a lot more about it than any other rabbi in the world. And I can tell you that the minute I stopped, I wiped out all of the songs that I had in my, at the time it was an iPod. All my Eminem and 50 Cent and G Unit and all types of other units, all these rappers' music from my iPod. There was a different world. Why a different world? Suddenly, my cursing dropped, literally, immediately, dropped 50, 60%. And little by little, Baruch Hashem, became virtually non-existent. Why? Because I didn't have any source, continuous source, encouraging me to continue this behavior. Now, I didn't think it was that bad for me until I stopped. So that's also the reason why I know how bad music really is. If you're going to listen to music, my personal suggestion is, unless it's music, it's lyrics that are talking about Hashem, which means it's kosher music, by a kosher person. Like there are some non-kosher people that sing about Hashem, like they love Hashem, Hashem we love you, Hashem we love you, but the guy's driving on Shabbat and he's performing on Shabbat. People like that, don't listen to them. That's complete hypocrisy. You can listen to it, but I wouldn't recommend it. But as far as anyone that sings about Hashem, you can listen to it. My side suggestion is not to listen to it if the person is a hypocrite, like he talks about Hashem but he doesn't follow Hashem himself. And second suggestion is to listen to music without lyrics at all. Why? Because it's more or less less harmful, unless it's like the really hardcore trance and that type of music where it's aggressive just by its nature, like hard rock and heavy metal. You don't need lyrics. You can't even understand the lyrics in some of them. and it's still going to make you want to kill people. You listen to heavy metal type of music for a half hour, you already become like a half a Nazi. It's psychotic music. So don't listen to music like that, even though it's only the music. Don't listen to it. Why? It's aggressive music. Listen to things that make you softer, more calm, more collected. That's what's good to. Or don't listen to music at all. That's also an option. But some people like music. Most people like music. Listen to things that cheer you up, but again, are not forbidden. Leah, if a young toddler talks about Hashem or sings Torah songs in the bathroom, should a parent stop it or let it happen? This is a fantastic question. It's a fantastic question. But I'll elaborate on this question. If a toddler, a young boy or girl, doesn't necessarily need to be 1 year old, it could be 4 years old, 5 years old. If they're doing something that's forbidden in the Torah, they want to eat a bug. If you can stop them easily without causing major commotion, then you can stop it. But you don't need to. You don't have an obligation to stop it. If they say Hashem's name even inside the bathroom, don't stop them, don't say a thing. Why? Let them say Hashem's name. They have no concept whatsoever of what they're doing. But this is Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch says if you see a young, a baby, they call it, a baby, doing things that are forbidden for adults, don't even bother stopping them. Of course, train them over time when they have the ability to learn and understand. But you tell them that they're allowed to say Hashem's name in the room but not inside the bathroom, they're not going to understand that at such a young age. Even if they're smart kids, they're not going to understand it, so it's okay. They can listen to it. Don't be a Torah Nazi. Let them say Hashem, let them do whatever they want. As far as the mitzvot, let them get used to saying Hashem's name all the time. Let them get used to doing mitzvot all the time, even if that means they're going to say Shema Yisrael 17 times, even though that means they're going to do a blessing, Birkat Mazal, Birkat Asher Yatzar, and everything just for a little apple. They're going to do 87 blessings. Let them do it. No problem. Let them say Hashem's name as much as possible. Why? Hashem loves it. Hashem loves it. In fact, even if an adult that's a new Baal Teshuvah makes mistake, Hashem looks at him like a baby. You were born not when you were physically born. You were born when you did Teshuvah. Hashem looks at you like a baby. He judges you like a baby. So a person that makes mistakes in the beginning in his prayer, first time he does Amidah, 7 hours. Why 7 hours? It's only a 15, 20-minute prayer at max, even if you have kavanah. Why 7 hours? Because he started at the beginning of the Siddur, and he finished the whole thing. He read Amidah, Shachrit, Mincha, Arvit. He did Rosh Chodesh, Purim, the Chol HaMoed, Shabbat. The whole thing. He started at the beginning of the Siddur, he finished the whole thing. Every time he prayed, 7 hours. Why? He read the whole Siddur. He doesn't know. Kadosh Baruch Hu loves that guy. You can say, wait a minute, but if you do it, you're saying Hashem's name in vain. Yeah, if I do it, Hashem's name in vain. I'm not a baby anymore, Baruch Hashem. Hopefully I'm still a baby, but, not really. I've been doing it for a little while. But if somebody's a new Baal Teshuvah, makes mistakes, says Hashem's name, it's not saying Hashem's name in vain. Kadosh Baruch Hu likes it. Why? It's like a little baby saying his first words. So if Hashem treats an adult that way, needless to say, he treats a real physical baby that way. If your baby says Hashem's name in the bathroom or anywhere else, Chazaka ubucha, chazak ubaruch, good job, I love you, and keep doing it. Keep doing it, don't say a word. Don't stop them for a second. Like in Parashat Bereshit, Hashem tells the serpent that you will strike his heel, but he will crush your head. Okay? Yaakov's name is derived from the word heel, Ekev. Is there a connection between what Hashem says and Yaakov Avinu? I'm trying to see if I understand the question. Serpent gets a punishment that man will crush his head. Okay, and what does that have to do with? Strike his heel. Sorry, I'm not really sure I understand. And even if I understand, I don't think there's anything in the pshat over there. I mean, for sure you could find certain connections in every single letter in the Torah to the other. If you go to the Sod and the Drash, but I'm dumbfounded here. I don't really understand what's the connection. It's too broad of a question. It's too broad of a question. I'm sorry. Okay, Ethan, how to attain true happiness? What is considered regret for mitzvah? How to attain true happiness? I have several shiurim that have happiness in the title. Watch all of those. The simple answer is follow everything that it says in the Torah. That's how you attain happiness. Because happiness is a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual feeling. It's not something physical. Most people do not attain happiness because they try to feed their happiness with physicality. He tries to get happiness by having another girlfriend, another wife, more food, and more money and things of that nature. But yet, no matter how many wives he has and how much money he has, it doesn't change his happiness one bit. It gives him pleasures, but it doesn't change happiness, because happiness is a status of being that depends on a spiritual status of the person. And to get happiness, you have to improve your spiritual status. And we know that the only way to improve your spiritual status is to do the will of God. What's the will of God? Everything that it says in the Torah. If what you're doing is what it says in the Torah, you are improving your happiness. If what you're doing is against the Torah, you are hurting your happiness. Irrelevant of physicality and how the world works around you. There are plenty of people that were extremely poor but happier than you can possibly imagine, whether it was Rabbi Zusha or the Chafetz Chaim or the Chazon Ish, and many tzaddikim throughout history were very, very poor materially, but always had a smile on their face, always were fulfilled, always were celebrating, never depressed or anything like that. Why? Because their spiritual status literally improved on a second-by-second basis. So if you improve your Torah, you're going to improve your spiritual status. You improve your spiritual status, you're going to improve your happiness and attain true happiness. As far as regret for a mitzvah, in essence, it is what it says. Meaning you gave tzedakah, you gave, let's say, $500, and then let's say you lost money or something bad happened. And you say, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have given it to this place. Oh, you know what? I should have not given it because I would have at least had the money. And now I gave too much tzedakah. I donated 500. I donated 5,000, but now I lost my job. Had I not given the money, I would have at least had more money to live with right now. That's regretting a mitzvah. That's a mistake. Never regret a mitzvah. Never regret a mitzvah, because then you lose both. You lose the joy of the mitzvah itself, and you also lose the merit of the mitzvah. You lose the merit of the mitzvah. So never regret a mitzvah. You did a mitzvah, say thank you to Hashem for the opportunity to do a mitzvah, and whatever is in front of you, whatever difficulty is in front of you, has it's not because you did the mitzvah. It's not because you did the mitzvah. In fact, it could be that the difficulty you have in front of you is only that much because you did the mitzvah. Whereas it would have been much worse had you not done the mitzvah. And that's what a lot of people don't consider. That's one of the things that a lot of people don't consider. I heard a story from Rav Bidelman. Rav Bidelman, Shichye, has fantastic stories. He says there was this one guy, came to a rabbi. He said, Rabbi, shtabach shemo la'ah, I got to tell you a fantastic story that happened to me today. And so Rabbi said, what? Well, listen, I have some real estate, I own properties and so on, and I went and to go collect and run some errands, and I had collected some money. I had $40,000 in cash with me in an envelope, and I figured that I did my job for the day. So I decided, you know what, let me go into this one particular place, whether it was a place to eat or do something in it. Let me go in it. And I forgot to take the money with me. I left the money, and 3 phones. 3 phones in the car. I left it all in the car. And the phones were on top of the money. So I went, I did my thing. And literally a few minutes later, I came out and I see my car has been broken into. I look at it, I said, oh no. I see, right away I see, phones are missing. But then, I see $40,000 wasn't touched. $40,000 envelope. It's like a stock, like a cinder block. Not touched. I start dancing in the streets. Tabach Shimo! Woo! Thank you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Thank you. Wow, average person says, wow, what are you thanking? Just lost 3 phones. You know, today's world, that's $1,500 to $3,000. Yeah, you chamor. Yeah, but it's better to lose $1,500. I almost lost $40,000. But he says, look at that, Kvod Arav, where I learned from you. Look where I learned from you. There's something good here. Why? Had it the $40,000, had I not forgotten to put it, to leave it in the car. Let's say I put the $40,000 in my car, in my pocket, and went inside, but I left only the phones, and somebody would have broken in and taken the 3 phones. I would have come back. I see, man, I just lost $1,500. What a terrible start of the day. Hashem, why are you doing this to me? I can't believe it. I give maser. I give this. Why is this happening to me? That's the way I would have looked at it. But look at what HaKadosh Baruch Hu did for me. Look what HaKadosh Baruch Hu did for me. I left everything there, and now the fact that I only lost the 3 phones, that's actually the biggest blessing, because now I understand what I could have lost. So that's the thing. When a person does a mitzvah, and let's say he sees that Hashem is testing him shortly after, he has a loss, he has a difficulty, and so on, he should never regret the mitzvah, but rather see that this difficulty is only this difficult and not more difficult due to the mitzvah. Had you not done the mitzvah, it could have been much more difficult. It could have been chas v'shalom death. It could have been death. A person gives tzedakah, it says tzedakah tatzili mavet. A tzedakah will save a person from death. A person goes outside, Hashem Yishmor, falls, breaks his leg, says, oh Hashem, why you did this to me? He doesn't realize. Because you gave tzedakah, you only broke your leg. Because your life was on the line. And the tzedakah wasn't enough to even remove that from you. But nonetheless, instead of your life, it was only your leg. And that's the reality. When a person regrets a mitzvah, he loses on both ends, loses on everything. So that's a mistake. Jacob, after watching Kosher Intimacy, you're referring to my lecture called Kosher Intimacy. How do you actually think and do Kedusha prior and during the mitzvah of procreation without lust, even with the lights off, covered as Hashem intended, with glasses off, as I'm blind as a bat? Their Chachamim say that there is only one mitzvah. There's only one mitzvah in the entire Torah, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made it so that it must have some fulfillment of desire, if you will, like a yetzara in it, which is the mitzvah of intimacy. Why? If there was no yetzara for intimacy, if there was no physical desire for intimacy, then simply the body would not function. It's not that people wouldn't want to be intimate. The body itself requires this desire in order to function, in order to be able to perform. A man that does not have the desire, the yetzirah, if you will, is not going to be able to perform. A woman that does not have the desire is not going to be able to perform. And that's actually, unfortunately, a problem in today's world, where you have some men and women that have gone to that point where they overperformed in the past, or did certain things in the past that got them to the point where they've become either very difficult to please or impossible to please. And this requires a spiritual rectification of the person in order to fix the physicality. Sometimes the physicality is a lost cause, but in many cases, if you fix the spiritual status, you'll be able to fix the physical status. But the point being is that the yetzirah part, the desire part of procreation, is normal, is necessary, is the way it's supposed to be. There has to be that. But that does not mean it needs to be filthy. Does not mean that it needs to be like an animal. There is a holiness to it, where first and foremost, a couple should pray before they're together. If it's the guy could learn a little bit before they're together. The woman could read some Tehillim before they're together, and understand that there are several mitzvot that have to do with procreation. Number one, it's obviously to bring children to the world. That's number one. Now, if they can't, because of age, or because she just had a child already within the last few months, or otherwise, it's not a problem. That's not the only mitzvah. It's not the only mitzvah. One mitzvah of being intimate with your wife or with your husband is to bring children to the world. Bring children. If you're able to bring children to the world, you should bring children to the world. Don't worry about money. Kadosh Baruch Hu will give you money. People that do not bring kids to the world because of money make very, very big mistakes and live with a lot of regrets. One of the Chachamim would, the way he would look at his kids, something amazing. I don't know, maybe some people will not understand what I mean here, but one of the people will celebrate. Say, oh wow, Mazal Tov. Oh yeah, that's my Kaddish. What? That little boy, that's my Kaddish. That's my Kaddish. That's my Kaddish. What does it mean, Mr. Kaddish? These are the kids. They're going to say Kaddish on me when I leave this world. They're going to continue praying for me after I'm gone. That's my Kaddish. Who doesn't want 10, 20, 50, 1,000 people saying Kaddish for him after he leaves this world, Hashem Yishmo, after she leaves this world? Person should understand, your children are your investments in this world. Never ever stop bringing children to the world if you're able to bring kids. And don't worry about money. HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not tell us to bring kids just so he could starve them. It's a very silly thing to think. It's also lack of emunah and bitachon. And it's also viewing Hashem chas v'shalom as vicious, where he told you to fulfill a mitzvah just so he could torture you. Doesn't make any sense. So first reason of intimacy is for the sake of producing kids, bringing more kids to the world. Again, when appropriate, when possible. But again, when appropriate and possible is not based on whether you feel like it or not, or you could afford it or not. Appropriate and possible is when there's the woman is physically and emotionally stable to be able to have a child. That's when it's possible. It's not when you have a lot of money. It has nothing to do with money. By the way, poor people usually have a lot more kids than rich people. So obviously money is not a reason of why they're having more kids. It's not. It's only a rich people's yetzirah makes them think they need to have a lot more money to have kids. It's completely ridiculous. So anyway, it's first off is to bring children to the world. So that's one of the things that you pray before you're intimate with your wife. Bezat Hashem, may Hashem make this this time be a time that the child comes from this. And if it doesn't, you pray again. If it doesn't, come again. But the point is that you pray each time that Hashem blesses this particular time. This is going to be a time where it produces a child. But even if it doesn't produce a child, even if it can't produce a child, then there's other mitzvot. The second mitzvah is mitzvat ona'ah. Mitzvat ona'ah, which is to the pleasure of itself, the pleasure of the action itself. For a husband to pleasure his wife, and for a wife to pleasure a husband in a kosher way, obviously when they're together, that is actual mitzvah. That is a mitzvah. It's a very serious mitzvah. It's a very holy mitzvah. Without having that mitzvah, you don't have a marriage. You don't have a marriage. And a husband needs to learn how to do the right thing in order to make sure that he's not just pleasuring himself. And the wife, same thing. It's very, very important for people to know that they're not alone. Some guys or girls, they're like animals. They simply just come, they get their own fix, and they care less about the other party. This is a very big mistake. Very big mistakes that leads to a lot of very serious problems that unfortunately we've encountered with people, where sometimes it leads to cheating, it leads to a breakup of marriage. Many times the breakup of marriage and cheating in marriage has something to do with that too. It's not always that. It's obviously because somebody doesn't know how to control themselves. But nonetheless, a lot of times that puts a person over the edge. That leads them to cheating. So a person needs to know that they're not an animal, and the other party, your spouse, is not an animal either. It's not a just there to give you a fix. You have to know that there is a mitzvah of hona'ah. And it's actually the obligation of the man to pleasure the wife more than the wife pleasuring the husband. So that's the second mitzvah. Third mitzvah is the wife is actually doing a mitzvah that the husband is not doing, which is she's helping the husband not sin by wasting seed. So that's an enormous thing, because every time you waste seed, he's destroying his neshama, he's creating demons. It's the one mitzvah that the Zohar Kadosh says there's no, when a person wastes seed, there is no fixing it, meaning there's no teshuvah for it, in the sense that it's very difficult to fix it, because it produces more demons, or mezikin, it's what it's called, than any of the other mitzvot in the Torah. So it's much harder to fix wasting seed than anything else. So when a wife is intimate with her husband, she is helping him not sin. And this actually is what the Chachamim, when they talk about their wives, what do they call an Eshet Chayil? An Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor, is a woman that raises the kids with Torah and mitzvot and keeps her husband away from sinning. That's an Eshet Chayil. Meaning cooking, cleaning, making money, all that other stuff, that is not requirements of an Eshet Chayil. A woman of valor helps raise the kids for Torah and mitzvot and keeps her husband away from sin. That's what the Gemara says. So it's very important for a person to know that it's for her to want to keep you away from sin, you obviously have to act a certain way, not just before the act. Like some men are, I don't know, like maybe they were like a reincarnation of a lion or a dog or some type of animal, because they only want to be nice to their wives 30 seconds before they want something from them. That's, if you're a lion, you can do that. If you're a cow or a bull, you can do that. But if you're a Jew, if you're a human being, that's inappropriate, needless to say. That's not going to work out very well in your life, unless, you're an animal. Again, if you want to go to the zoo, we can get you a cage. Maybe we could put a name on it, like Bertha, or if you're a guy, we're going to like Steve the lion. That could work out. But if you're a human being, needless to say, if you're a holy Jew, you have to make sure to realize you can't just be nice to your wife 30 seconds or the day of. You have to be nice the whole week. You have to be generous the whole week. You have to make sure that you are always kind, always nice, and work on it. And when you fail, try again. So, 3 mitzvot. When a man or a woman look at the act of intimacy with their spouse as 3 opportunities to connect, not just to each other spiritually and physically, but also to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself, all of a sudden the whole thing becomes holy. So that's why you pray or you learn Torah beforehand. That's why you're even thinking about Hashem at the time you're together. Again, not all the time. There's some people more, some people less, but it becomes more of a reality where this whole thing is a sanctification of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's name. He created my body in a certain way, and He gave me these tools, and I can use these tools not only to enjoy myself, but also my spouse, also to bring something good to the world. Even if that good is not just a child, even if that good is simply joy. And also there is a certain kedusha that's produced when a man has his seed going to inside his wife, that gives comfort to the wife. That she calms down and so on. So the point is that I highly doubt this is ever talked about in lectures, and that's the reason why I'm mentioning now, because it's probably going to be the only time I'll ever talk about myself. But as far as this issue, but that's really what the case is. The case is that intimacy is not just for the sake of giving the man pleasure, or just the woman pleasure, or just to produce kids, or it's just to stay away from sin. No, it's everything. It's everything. When you think of everything, and you think of everything as each one of these things is a mitzvah, it's another opportunity for me to connect to Hashem. Of course it becomes holy. And again, it's not something that's so difficult to do, believe it or not. You just have to think about the right things by preparing yourself mentally and spiritually beforehand. You can't just going into it thinking you're going to be holy right away. You have to prepare yourself. And in the beginning, perhaps you may need to prepare yourself a little bit more, whether it's by reading something or listening to something before the act to prepare yourself. Maybe you could listen to Tehillim beforehand, you could listen to prayers, you could pray yourself. You could do a lot of different things in order to prepare yourself for the time and not make it so spontaneous, like, oh, let's go, I'm hot, you're hot, let's do it. It should be a little bit more. The holier a couple is, the more preparation it has. But again, it doesn't mean that it's always prepared. Sometimes it is spontaneous. Sometimes it is of the moment for different reasons, either because sometimes you have kids and they finally fell asleep, or it's whatever. It's different reasons. The husband is perhaps travels, so he's out of the house for half the year. Different reasons, different families, but everybody needs to know themselves, know their wife, know their husband, and know that this is the will of Hashem. This is the will. We're not Christianity that frowns upon intimacy. Intimacy is a holy thing. Is a holy thing when it's between a husband and a wife. Joseph is saying, I have a hard time waking up early in the morning to pray. Thank you very much for your time. If you're having a hard time waking up early in the morning to pray, that's usually because you're going to sleep very late. Go to sleep early, and you'll be able to wake up early. If you are going to sleep early and you're still waking up late, then you need to learn a little bit more Mazal and learn more about Yirat Shamayim, that you're missing major mitzvot. You're missing the Kriyat Shema in the morning. You're missing opportunity to pray with a minyan and so on. So you need to learn a little bit more Musar. It's most likely the first rather than the latter. So I would say go to sleep earlier. Go to sleep earlier. Now if you say, no, I can't go to sleep early, then there's different suggestions of how you can make yourself go to sleep early. Either not to do certain things that cause you to stay up late, like look at your phone, or eat meals and then watch screens and things like that. There's different things that cause a person to stay up at night. And if you know that you staying up at night is going to hurt your morning, then it's better that you don't do certain things and go to sleep early. You could also learn, open a very very holy sefer, like a Gemara or a poskim, depending on each person's level, and start reading it. For sure, the Satan is going to put you to sleep no matter what time you're putting it on, because he doesn't want you to stay up learning Gemara or learning something like this. If the only time that the Satan gives you no problems when it comes to keeping you up at night is if you're wasting your time watching the news or coronavirus or elections, all types of other junk. That's when Satan says you can stay up for 5 days in a row. But if you're learning Torah, suddenly you're tired, even if it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So learn Torah, especially from books, late at night, and you'll succeed in a very, very big way. The Stipler Gaon actually says that learning at night is one of the tikkunim that every person needs to have in his life. He has to learn at night, or else you're not going to be able to acquire wisdom. So learning Torah at night is very, very valuable. Jacob, how do you develop real and true fear of Hashem without seeing or feeling Hashem? Many people really think they fear Hashem, but how is it really developed through study, learning, and musal? So the most important thing when it comes to acquiring Yirat Shamayim is that you have to know 2 things. Number one is that listening to a Shiur Torah or reading a book of Torah in itself is not enough. It's not enough. Why? You have to take action. You have to take action. You have to apply it. You have to apply what you're learning. You learned XYZ, you have to apply it. You have to apply it in your life. You have to apply it to the mitzvot. You have to do the mitzvot. You have to, with that in mind, from that point forward. The more you put that in your mind and apply it to your life, the more that mitzvah is going to connect you to the Creator that created you and that commanded you to do this mitzvah. And the more you realize that He is watching over you, the more fear you're going to have. The second thing is delving into things, meaning deeply analyzing what is actually being said and what you're actually learning and how it applies to your life. self-reflection, reflection on what you're learning. Those are the key things, key ingredients to having, that what you're learning become a reality. Because a lot of times people listen to shurim or read books, but nothing changes. Nothing changes in their life. And I know a few people that literally have read dozens and dozens and dozens of books, but still are the same as they were before they read the books. Almost nothing has changed. They keep Shabbat, they keep some basics, but their ideology, their manners, their behavior overall, their skepticism of Hashem, all that other stuff, it's the same. Nothing has changed. Why? Because they're reading everything like they're reading a novel. It's more for intellectual stimulation than it is for the sake of fulfilling the words of Hashem. So the more you delve into the words, the more you're going to be able to understand what's being said and how it applies to your life. The more you understand how it applies to your life, the more you're going to be able to apply it to your life. The more you apply it to your life, the more you're going to realize that Hashem is the one that created this mitzvah, and He's also the one that's watching you fulfill this mitzvah. And if He's watching you fulfill this mitzvah, suddenly you become scared. Why? He's here. It's here. It becomes a reality. He's here. It's here. It's not like maybe if Hashem was here. No, He is here now. He's here now. So that requires thinking deeply about what's being said, what's being taught, and applying it to your life, applying it to your mitzvot, applying it to your actions, applying it to your speech, relationships, and so on and so forth. And the more you apply, the more you're going to feel Hashem. You're going to feel Hashem. You're not going to need to see Hashem. You're going to feel Him at all time. You're going to feel His presence at all time. And feeling the presence is much more powerful than anything you can imagine. The previous year you mentioned that you worked 14-hour days for $250 a week, making 700 to 1,000 calls. Is that the same as trying to memorize the Shachrit, Mincha, Ma'ariv, and Gemara? Is Teshuvah always the first step to any mitzvah and learning? Sorry. You guys are asking complicated questions today. Not that I don't know the answers. I'm having a hard time understanding some of the questions. What does me working for $250 a week have to do with memorizing the Gemara and Teshuvah? Okay, let me try to see if I understand it. When I was in first beginning on Wall Street, I worked for $250 a week, making many phone calls. Yes, between 700 to 1,000 calls a day, and. Is that the same as memorizing Shachrit, Mincha, Ma'ariv, and Gemara? No, it's not. Memorizing Shachrit, it's a matter of time, but you're going to say it enough time, you're going to do it. Mincha, much faster, Ma'ariv, even faster. Memorizing the Gemara, no, that's a world apart. Memorizing the Gemara, if you compare that to, let's say, business, and you want to use the example of making 700 to 1,000 phone calls, memorizing the Gemara is more like making 100,000 phone calls. 100,000 phone calls a day for, 20 years straight. It's memorizing the Gemara is a world apart. Memorizing prayers, you're going to memorize it because you do it a lot of times. You do it every day. The more you pray, it becomes second nature to you. Understanding what you've actually said, it's a different story. That takes a little bit more time. But memorizing the Gemara, memorizing the Gemara is, I wish I memorized the Gemara. That's a world apart. But as far as Teshuvah being the first step to any mitzvah, technically, yes, because it's you need to, use every tool you have to connect to Hashem. And if you're not doing a certain mitzvah and now you're doing it, whether you are realizing it or you're not realizing it, you're doing this mitzvah the first time is a form of teshuvah. You're returning to Hashem. How are you returning to Hashem? Through doing this mitzvah that you weren't doing a day before, even though you were supposed to be doing it. It's not that you're now fulfilling a mitzvah that that you were not fulfilled. You're not supposed to do. You were always supposed to be doing this mitzvah. you didn't do it, and therefore you now doing it is the Teshuvah itself, is the big part of the Teshuvah itself. It's the biggest part of the Teshuvah itself. So in order for a person to do Teshuvah, they need to do the mitzvot. Those mitzvot are an expression of the Teshuvah. In order to actually do either one, the Teshuvah or the mitzvah, they must learn. Why? Because you need to learn what to do and why you're doing it and how to do it. So that's where the learning comes in. So the more you learn, the more you'll be inclined to do more mitzvot, and the more you'll understand the power and the significance of your mitzvot and how it is actually connecting you to Hashem even deeper, which is in essence the highest form of teshuvah. Okay, one or two more questions. David, if you get called to jury duty, they make you swear in the courthouse. Is it permissible to do so, and how should you go about it? Usually they don't make you say the name of God. Usually they just make you say I do or I don't or something like that. You can say I do. Generally speaking, you should not be involved in a civil court anyway. Why? Because civil courts are if it's in Israel, it's a chilul Hashem. If it's other places, then it's it's not Torah. It's a heresy. So it's not good to go to court anyway. You should try to get yourself excused and not be in jury duty, because you could be in essence part of a jury that puts a person in jail for something that's not even a Torah violation. So it's better to avoid jury duty, and you can even say that it's because of religious reasons. You can say that different reasons to avoid jury duty. But if you find yourself that it's too late, you're already in jury duty, then it's try to use whatever tool you can to excuse yourself. But if you're already in it, you're in it. There's not much you can do. As far as the swearing, to my knowledge, I don't think they mentioned the name of God. And if they do, you have to tell them, I'm sorry, I can't swear in the name of God, and they'll excuse you just for that. Jacob, is watching your Shiur Torah anytime, Shulchan Aruch, be considered part of daily learning, or must we learn Yom Yom, Tanya, Tehillim? So watching my Shiur is definitely learning Torah. Not because it's me per se, but rather because I mentioned many sources for the Torah, and I generally don't talk much about the news. I don't talk about my personal opinion very much. I generally focus on either the weekly parasha or Musar or certain Gemarot and so on and so forth. So for sure it's learning Torah. I wish that Hashem will give me the merit of every second of it being Torah, but nonetheless the vast majority of my shulim are generally Torah. So yes, it's my learning of Torah. As far as other places, I can't vouch for other places. I don't know what other people teach. I can't tell you that any person, any speaker that you listen to on Torah Anytime or any other place out there is also Torah. I can't say that. Why? I don't want to take that burden on my back and make you think that anybody that you listen to on this site is a Torah. Because sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's bitul Torah. Sometimes listening to certain speakers is a cancellation of Torah. It's wasting time. It's a sin. It's a sin to listen to certain people. So I can't vouch for anybody that's not I'm not directly related to, teaching with, associate with, and I don't really mention many names. Then pretty much who I can tell you is okay. So as far as blindly telling you that any rabbi that speaks is Torah, I can't do that. I can tell you that one of my students told me one time that she grew up religious. She grew up in a seminary. She went to Bet Yaakov and so on and so forth the whole life. She was always religious. And then one day she was, maybe 18, 19, 20 years old, started coming to my lectures. And, in the beginning, she was a modest girl. She didn't talk to me for a little while. Then eventually one day, she wanted to ask me a question. So when I have my lectures and there's people, I stay after the lectures and I let everybody have an opportunity to meet me for a few minutes. But make sure there's always people there. There's no issues of yichud or anything like that. So anyway, she came up and she wanted to ask me a few questions. And she said, I just wanted to let you know, I learned in Bet Yaakov, in schools everywhere, in New York, in Florida, in different places. And I've been coming to your shiur for the last few months. And I said, oh, Baruch Hashem, good. She goes, no, that's not what I'm going to tell you. What I want to tell you is I learned more in a few months of your shiur than I learned my entire life. I said, what do you mean? Well, what did you learn in school? She goes, I didn't learn. I learned, but it's just not that much information. It's just not that much sources. I said, what, don't you listen to Shiur Torah also online? She goes, yeah. The speakers that I listen to, they're rabbis, they're respected, they're good people, they're nice people, but I listen to an hour, 45 minutes of it is junk. 45 minutes of it is just chit-chat, socializing, this and that. He said, the way you have your shiur, she takes notes of all my shiurim. She has all notebooks and stuff, all my shiurim. Says, in the first 5 minutes, I'm already filling up pages of notes. The other shiurim, the whole shiur, maybe I can fit on half a page. So, very different. So again, because of that, doesn't mean all speakers are bad or anything, but because of that, I cannot vouch for everybody else. There could be some people that you listen to that they do say divrei Torah, but it's a very small part of their time. So you can't expect Hashem to calculate the full 1 or 2 hours of you watching this video being Torah when the guy only spoke divrei Torah for 5-10 minutes, and the rest of it he was talking about baseball, basketball, politics, coronavirus, and all types of other mumbo jumbo of the world. That's not Torah. It's not Torah. So it has to be Torah. It has to be related to something related to Torah, shkafa, musar, halacha, and things of that nature. Parashat Shavua, and so on. Sipurei tzadikim, it's also good. But point is that it has to be connected to Torah in somewhere or another. And of course, there are levels. There are levels of Torah. But the point is that Shiur Torah can definitely be part of your daily learning. In the beginning of doing Teshuvah, the videos are a much more significant part of your learning. As you progress with your learning and so on, you'll have to combine the videos with some books. With some learning of the books. And, little by little, it'll be more books to the point where perhaps you'll spend just as much time learning the videos as you do learning the books. I don't ever recommend stop watching the videos if the videos are helping you. They're helping you in your life. The person that got you to where you are, whoever that person may be, whether it's me or it's somebody else, you should always stay connected to the original source because your neshama is connected. It's connected to that person and it needs that nourishment. Sometimes people, think that they are already a big tzaddikim. They listen to shiurim, they do teshuvah, they start learning books, and they abandon the shiurim, the rabbi they used to attend the classes because they think they're above and beyond it. No, Rabbi, I'm not about teshuvah anymore. I'm already frum 10 years already. I don't need to watch the shiurim. I don't need to attend. And what do you see happen? You see that person thinks he's a big shot, thinks she's a big shot because they're now learning books, they're now learning different rabbis, and you see how that person, whether they realize it or not, starts deteriorating on a regular basis, or at the best case scenario, they plateau. They read more books, but their development of their character stays exactly the same. They're religious for more years, but their development hits a wall or deteriorates. Why? The source of nourishment that they have was cut off. So it's very important to continue getting that nourishment, whether it's a local rabbi or it's an online rabbi, whoever it is, should definitely continue getting it. But again, you should definitely increase your books. You should read the weekly parasha every week with commentary by Rashi. Read at least a couple of halachot every day. Either learn musar through a book or a video, each day. And then once you get to a certain point, you can start learning Gemara, which teaches you how to think, how to figure things out. It's the very very serious learning. In the beginning, you don't understand anything, but still do it. And you'll see how you'll understand more and more over time. Okay, one last question. I'm kind of tired. For some reason, these shiurim are a little more difficult for me than the 9-hour shiur. I think there's the 9-hour shiurim that we do have more siyat d'ishmaya, apparently. I don't even think about tiredness until it's almost over. Okay. Jacob again. If you give what you can or more for tikkunabrit.live, that's the website that we have for the movie. So it's tikkunabrit.live is TIKKUNHABRIT.LIVE, and it impacts financially your family of 5. I know it's worth it for forgiveness of wasting seed and past and slip-ups. How do you know you're forgiven and all your neshamot released taking revenge? Now, as far as giving for the film and for Tikkun HaBRIT, it's definitely something that a person can do, not just one time, but on a regular basis, because each person sinned, I'm assuming, more than once, more than So unless a person knows, or at least can guesstimate how many times they sin and does the tikkunim for all of them in one shot, usually people have to give on a regular basis. Second of all, as far as giving for the sake of kiruv, always is good, even if it's not just for tikkun habrit, even if it's just regular giving for the sake of kiruv, because that brings blessing to the person, like we learned from the Gaon Mivilna. A person that serves Hashem also through his money, Hashem gives them other people to make him money. So that's it helps Parnasah. Now, as far as knowing when a person is completely forgiven, technically we don't know. Technically we don't know if we're completely forgiven, but there are some indications. There are some indications that Chachamim tell us. First and foremost, if a person knows what he sinned and what he fixed. I mean, every person knows what he sinned and what he fixed. He used to violate Shabbat, now he doesn't violate Shabbat. He used to waste seed, now he doesn't waste seed. So he already knows what he fixed. And he already knows how attracted he is to the sin still, and how far he is from the sin. But the biggest thing where he knows that in essence Hashem pretty much wiped it out is that he doesn't have the desire anymore. He doesn't have the desire to make that sin anymore. Now, with specific immorality sins, that's possible. But with general immorality, it's not possible. En apotropos la'arayot. Meaning, if a person used to sin with homosexuality, that he can get to a point where he has no desire whatsoever to homosexuality. I have several students that used to be homosexual, and Baruch Hashem, today they're no longer homosexual. So I mean, that is possible. The person no longer has a desire. It's not that they don't practice anymore the sin. They don't have a desire for homosexuality anymore. So that can happen. But to not have any desire whatsoever for immorality, that's not possible because it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy to get to that point. It happens for extremely holy people, but those are not very common in the world. And it's also not recommended to be that holy to the point where you have no desire anymore. It's because Hashem wants you to have it. To produce kids, to be with your wife or your husband and so on. So people that, want to be like the Christian nuns and the popes that pretend to be celibate and so on, that's not a mitzvah. That's not a mitzvah at all. That's not kedusha. It's not good at all. Hashem wants us to use the body that He gave us in order to be intimate with our spouses in a kosher way, in a holy way, and so on. A person that thinks that they being alone and no longer, that makes him holy, it does not make you holy. It does not make you holy at all. In fact, it makes you more vulnerable to make crimes, both physical and spiritual crimes, because there's a need for a man to be with his wife and a woman to be with her husband. There's a need for both parties, both a physical and a spiritual need. So a person needs to know that Hashem brought men and women into the world in order for them to get married to each other. Not for you to live in Honolulu and she lives in Mumbai. That's not for the reason. You have to get married. This is the reason why The tzaddikim, many times you'll see, if you look at their bios, many times they married multiple times. Not because they got divorced, because their wives died before them, and they got married a second time, and sometimes a third time. The Gaon Vilna was married multiple times, the one that we mentioned tonight. He married multiple times. Rabbi Akiva married multiple times. Many tzaddikim married multiple times. Rav Kaduri married his second wife when he was almost 80-something, 90 years old. Married his second wife. And she was 40, the second wife. And because she was a big tzaddikah, and she knew what she wanted to be part of the tzaddik's life. Wasn't for the filthy reasons people think and so on. She was an enormous tzaddikah. She still is an enormous tzaddikah. Rav Kadui's wife, enormous tzaddikah. But the point is that the tzaddikim always did whatever they could to have a wife. Being celibate or whatever a bit, nuns, popes, all that garbage, it's not holy. It's actually the opposite. And that's the reason why you'll see that while they pretend to be holy, these people, they are actually the filthiest people on the planet, with rape, molestation, pedophilia, disgusting stuff. If you knew half the stuff that I've learned and seen about this particular topic, you'd literally want to vomit all day. It's the people that pretend to not, they're perhaps the most vile people in the world, sometimes most violent people in the world, literally molesting dozens and dozens of children every week. Just recently, part of this movie that we're making, we had to watch some videos from psychological studies of sex offenders, Hashem Yishmor. And you see, these people literally molested, raped hundreds, and in one particular case that I can remember, this monster, Rasha, person named Gerald, Yimach Shimo v'zichro, I don't know his last name, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu surely does. He himself molested over 1,200 kids. 1,200! Including his own son. To the world, they all thought he was a tzaddik. Rasha, wasn't Jewish, some filthy devil person. But nonetheless, these people claim to be kosher people. Kadosh Baruch Hu created the world with man and a wife. The man, it's not good for him to be alone, Torah says. What does it mean it's not good for him to be alone? Not good for him to be alone. That's what it means. He has to have a wife. Wife's no more, he has to get married again. Husband no more, you have to get married again. Oh, what if I can't find? Keep looking, and you'll find. Monsters. Honestly, it's Shem Yishmo. We have to finish on a better note than that. Shem Yishmo. Let me just put this garbage in my head right now. Jonah is asking, what should someone do if whenever they think about Hashem, their mind compulsively produces some sort of form? How can we intimately relate to an invisible God and truly feel His presence? As I mentioned before, the more you do mitzvot and connect to the mitzvot, to the actions, and also see Hashem's kindness in everything that you do, the more you see Hashem's kindness in everything that you do, the more you see that Hashem in your life, the more you're going to fall in love with Him. For example, there is a person that can eat. Okay, so they can eat, and they take an apple, they bite an apple. And I say, oh no, I'm a Jew, so I'll do a blessing before I eat the apple. Chazaku Baruch, he did a blessing. Great. Does that mean you connect to Hashem? No, not really. You blessed Hashem, thank you very much, but it's not really, you didn't connect to Hashem. Why? What's connected to Hashem? What's connected to Hashem? Eating an apple. First of all, think about this. You eat the apple, automatically, as soon as you bite into the apple, or anything else that you bite to, there's a flavor. And that flavor is a good flavor. What if Hashem said, you know what? Let's make the food of people the same thing like the food of the snake. What's the curse of the snake? Everything tastes the same to them. Whether they eat a rat, or they eat a cat, or they eat a apple, or they eat anything. Everything tastes the same to them. Everything is dust. That's the curse. That's the biggest curse in the world. You can eat everything but enjoy nothing. So imagine, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't love us, and not only didn't put taste in everything, but he put different taste in everything. Imagine what if he would have put the same taste for everything. The apple, the cat, the rat, everything tastes the same. It's a curse. But instead Hashem made everything taste different. And not only different, it's good. It's a different type of good. This is sweet, this is sour, this is spicy, this is that. Hashem, everything. But it's not only that. What if everything was great? What if all the apples were great? What if all the steaks were great? Everything was great. Hashem loved us so much, he also wanted us to look and enjoy our food, the way it looks, the way it's prepared, and how beautiful it is. Why? Because the look of it gives us an indication of how it tastes. The look of it gives us an indication of how it tastes. Better yet, that's not enough. Not just the look of the food, not just the taste of the food, but the way it smells. Why? The smell is a preparation of how it tastes, how it's going to affect you. You could smell the spice. You could smell different things. And also different warmth. Hot, cold. Some food you could have hot. Some food you could have cold. Some food, if you have it hot or cold, it's not good. If it's hot, it's not good. If it's cold, it's not good. So the point is, Hashem toiled. In essence, exerted effort. Not that Hashem has limitations, but in essence, Hashem toiled in order to make this world beautiful. The food beautiful, the environment beautiful. And for what? For you. For you. Meaning that there's no matter what you do, you can bless the apple 4,000 times, which you're not allowed to. But let's say you can bless the apple 4,000 times, you will never be able to pay back Hashem what he gave you, even in a single minute. Even a single apple that he gave you, a single piece of meal that he gave you, the amount of toil that went into producing that food to feed you one time, your whole life you cannot pay him back for it. Your whole life. But he says, not only did I do all of that, not only you say a blessing, that's a payment. So not only did he do more than you can pay him back, but he even tells you and gives you the feeling that as if you paid him back. Wow, by saying a blessing. So the more you see HaKadosh Baruch Hu in his creation, you realize how much love he exerted into the world, and the more you feel bad about not doing his will. Imagine, now you know all of this, and you still don't bless him. You still don't say thank you for the food. What kind of ungrateful person that person is. Understand? So that's what happens in the world, is that people enjoy the good that Hashem gives them, but not only they don't say thank you, they go against him. Hashem gives the money, and they use it to go against him. You understand? So the more you see Hashem in your life, in the creation, in your work, everything, the more you're going to fall in love with Hashem, and the more you're going to intimately connect with Hashem. You're going to intimately connect with Hashem. Just think about the wife that you have, the kids that you have, the husband you have, the job, the food, the vision, the hearing, the speech, the taste, all the different things you have in your world. I mean, literally, if you calculate all the things you benefited from within the first hour of your day, forget about your whole day. Within the first hour of the day, you could fill up a whole book. Fill up a whole book. If you really, really analyze all the things you're benefiting from, a whole book you could fill up with the first hour of your day. Because you have to think about it deeply. Oh, the apple, it's not just that Hashem made sure that it's green, or it's red if you like it, or it's yellow. No, he made sure it tastes a certain way. And on top of it, he makes sure that it's crisp, or it's soft, depending on what you like. And he made sure, not only that, made sure that it's fresh. Not only that, he made sure it's on my desk. Oh, how did it get on my desk? It had to be, some farmer had to plant a seed, to think about going to plant a seed somewhere in the middle of America, in the middle of nowhere over there. He's planting a seed. Why? Because he wants to grow apples. Why? Because he wants to sell the apples. Why? Because he wants to make money. Why? Because he could buy more tractors. Why? Because he wants to build more farms and more houses and so on. Okay, so he's going to make it out of apples. He plants a seed. But it's not just planting a seed. He has to make sure the seed has enough sufficient water, has the nice fertilizer, and so on and so forth. And he has the people that are working for him and can actually go out there and collect the apples when the time comes. And not only collect the apples, you have to make sure you have the right machines. And not only are the right machines, you have to have the right amount of gasoline, the right type of gasoline, and the right type of employee maneuvering the machine and the gasoline. And on top of that, after you put it, you have to have somebody manufacture the bags or the sacks that you're going to use to gather all the apples. And on top of that, you have to make sure somebody produces the ink that's going to go on the sack. The sack itself, you have to make sure the sack doesn't say bananas, it says apples. And on top of that, somebody needs to want to buy these apples, because you can't just take the apples from the farm and sell it to the whole world. Not everything is farmer's market. You have to make sure somebody wants to produce it to taste it. But now, how are you going to make sure that these apples survive getting to your table? That may be weeks or months later. So somebody has to think of, let's preservatives. Let's make something with preservative that they can dip the apple in order to make sure it's preserved and it doesn't go bad faster. So it can last the whole journey. So somebody has to think, some clever scientist has to think about not only that, but think about you and your house. So he has to make it, and somehow somebody has to market this new chemical that he makes to the farmer, to the guy that's buying from the farmer, to dip it, and on top of it, has to make the boxes. Somebody has to make the boxes, cut the wood, has all the woodsmen to make the wood, to make sure that there's boxes for the apples. And on top of that, you have to put it, you're not going to sell it in boxes, you have to sell it in little plastic. So somebody has to go dig into the ground, get some oil, get some stuff to make the plastic. Why? Because you need the plastic in order to put the apples. And on top of it, you have to make stickers. Somebody has to get some trees in order to get the wood from it so you can make some stickers. And you have to get some other chemicals to make the glue. And the ink. Again, we're back to the same ink. And you have the apples. But you can't just make one apple, one back. No, you need 4. So somebody has to have the clever design, how to make it pretty with 4. And then sell it to Walmart, sell it to Winn-Dixie, sell it to all these different companies. Bottom line is, by the time it got to you, thousands of people were involved. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu did all of it. He gave every single one of them the desire to do what they do, the brain power to do what they do, the financial means to do what they do. Everything HaKadosh Baruch Hu did. For what? So you could eat an apple. The more you understand how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu did for you during the first hour of your day, the more you're going to be able to fall in love with Him for the rest of your day. Beseder Rabotai Karim, I appreciate you learning with me. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu bless each and every single one of you with the insight, the ability to fall in love with Him by simply seeing the world as clear as you possibly can, by seeing all the good that He gives you. Even if that good sometimes is painful, even if that good sometimes is confusing, even if that good looks bad, remember HaKadosh Baruch Hu is monitoring everything. Listen to the instructions of the Geonim, the genius rabbis, the Gaon Vilna, the sages of this generation, the sages of previous generations, people that have real Yirat Shamayim. Listen to them. Why? HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent them to your life in order to save you. Save you from yourself, save you from Satan, save you from desires, save you from the enemy, save you. And He's been waiting for you to follow His advice for 3,330 years. Please do it. B'ezrat Hashem, you'll enjoy the rest of the week. Continue learning Torah, continue doing mitzvot, and the more and more you do it, the more and more you'll enjoy it, because the more and more you do it, the more and more you'll feel Hashem as a permanent fixture in your life, where it's not just I'm doing it because He said it, but rather I'm doing it because I want to do it, because I know that it brings Hashem nachat. What's giving Hashem nachat? Is that Hashem is good. He is good because He wants to give us good. And He is happy that He's able to give us good. When we learn Torah, when we do mitzvot, we feel good. And that makes Hashem happy that He's able to give us the good that He's giving us. That's what it means to give Hashem nachat. Giving Hashem nachat is not that He's lacking anything. He is perfect. But He gets pleasure that He's able to give us good. He gets pleasure that He gets us good. The fact that we are doing good allows Him to give us good. And He is happy that He's able to give us good. That's how good He is. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen. Hashem na'aseh v'netzliach. Introducing the new Bezrat Hashem lecture center. We Baruch Hashem are here in Cooper City, Florida, on Sterling Avenue. We have in the same shopping center we have a major kosher supermarket. Lots of Jews out here. Initially, we're going to start off this place next month with the place where we're going to do our weekly shiurim 3 times a week. And as Hashem, as the crowd grows, maybe we'll add some more shiurim in Hebrew as well. Initially, it's going to be for men and women in English, and then later on, Hashem will do some other things. Later on, we're going to need to transform this place also into a synagogue. But as you can see, the walls are empty. We need an enormous amount of books. We need a Sefer Torah. We need an Aron Kodesh. We need a mechitza. We need a bima. We need all the holy things that you need for a synagogue. Now, throughout the years, we've been very generous to other people. We've donated to Torah. We've donated money to different synagogues. And I'm sure that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to send us the right people to donate all of these things to our organization, because all we want to do is spread Torah to the world. So anyone that is serious and looking to make a major contribution to our organization, whether it be the Sefer Torah or the Aron HaKodesh or the Mechitza, please contact us or simply go to our website, bezrathashem.org, and may Hashem continue to bless you.